So, it's the three of us for today. So it's going to be Nanto, played by Potts, Baruch, played by Naturidge. I had to remember your character name. And Ravenous, played by my wife, Sammy, or Ripley, if you prefer. Let's have some nice acoustic guitar. Nice and calm.
Standard.
So, let me get up the PowerPoint deck.
What else?
There you go. So Hala won't be joining us today, unfortunately. Has been sucked back into the various kids' issues of their life, and Lyrene will rejoin us next week. So it's Burrett, Ravenous, and Nanto. So the story so far, there's been a lot of problems around Daggerford as of late. Mostly a lot of farm crops coming to life and becoming quite hungry and just consuming everything living nearby. So the party's been dealing with a couple of those, some living pumpkins, some living corn. They took on the corn losses. The Duchess of Daggerford actually hired them on basically to help out with some work like that. They also went into the sewers and cleared out some crimson cleavers, and that will be picked back up on, I think, next episodes when it will finally be harvest closed. We get to find out who to contact the crimson cleavers is that was coming to town to collect and to meet with their contact. But right now, what the party's been up to is they've gone out back onto the farmlands for the third time. This time, not to kill living livestock, but to go follow up on a potential lead. It would seem that Lord Flashheart may have abducted Will, this lady in the bottom left corner, who's one of the gladiator friends of Hala, who's a local adventurer who fights in the arenas. They had a disagreement, and it seems like there's Mikhailo, this character in the middle at the bottom, young lad, saying that he spotted a couple of Flashheart's minions party members abducting her. The squad's it's been busy. You guys also did a null fight recently, but right now you're on Dwight Schrute's farm. I realised actually when I went back and looked at some of the office, he has a beet farm, not a turnip farm. So we're gonna say he does, or are those the same thing?
I figured you were avoiding like copyright and shit.
Yeah, we're avoiding copyright.
That's what we're doing.
We definitely wouldn't want to have that.
No relation to the office whatsoever.
Just happens.
What's the office?
There are no offices in Daggerford.
There are no offices.
Move along.
Move on.
A turnip farmer, beet/turnip farmer, who he's got a pretty sizable lot of farmsteads, but they're close enough to Daggerford. They haven't been abandoned by the guards, and they haven't been suffering from the live vegetation issues. You'd arrive there following up. You've got a few hours until lunchtime when you know that Lord Flashheart will be out of his manor because he'll be fighting in the arena thanks to making a deal with the arena owner, Iliana, I think her name is. Ilana. What's his name? Nanto, sorry, I don't know why my block's so hard on that. Wow, Nanto
so unforgettable.
had been talking with a couple of crows who'd been sitting on top of the barn, gaining some questionably useful information in return for corn. So it seems they are telling you that a trio of humans had arrived at the farm. They didn't actually say when, but they said they had come to the farm, and one had been dropped off, and the other two left. But you don't know much.
And they went into the barn, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And you did some investigating around the barn. You rummaged through the turnip pile, but didn't find any sign of a secret tunnel. Go on.
Secret tunnel!
Secret tunnel!
And there you go, just cuts you off as soon as you go into the tunnel bit, so every time.
And we did find a few too many sites which Mr. Schrute proposed that he still uses.
Yeah, well, they're like a family heirlooms almost.
Yeah.
Vast collection of beautiful beautifully maintained, immaculate scythes.
I'm suspicious of that on a few fronts, but that's
Yeah.
not at the moment.
And,
I don't think
well.
Burke would be close enough to farming to know any of those points.
Well, they could
certainly-
be used as a weapon. I mean,
Well,
you
I
might
mean,
be
that-
interested.
That's
Adding to your
obvious
repertoire.
enough. But you typically don't have a scythe that lasts more than 10 to 15 years of actual use.
There you go. There's his collection of scythes, and really, really small.
Really small collection.
Yeah, and you had also found inside the barn there was a pretty sizable pile of fresh manure as well, and the whole farm actually seemed to be fragrant with it. Yeah, there's this sort of musk hanging in the air. Clearly takes a lot of pride in fertilising his turnip crops.
Sorry, I'm just really bad at not thinking about terrible things.
Yeah, you are.
Carry on.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
And yeah, Mr. Scrhute had been watching you very carefully, particularly those who seemed to wander over to the barn. He like squinting suspiciously, watching you go in. Ravenous had stepped inside, and as soon as she was out of sight, rendered herself invisible, I believe.
I did because I don't want to be. No, yes, yeah.
That is what you said you did. So yes. And meanwhile, yeah, as I say, Nanto had been discussing with a couple of crows on the roof, and as far as Burke could tell, he went in. Did you go into the barn?
No, I didn't. I think I stayed outside, just
Yeah.
basically keeping attention of Dwight as most as I could.
Yeah, so Burke's just outside, and yeah, just watching Nanto just go caw, caw, having this conversation with the crows atop the barn, and then watching them fly down and start pecking what he knows is corn from the corn lossus, popped corn from
It's
it,
not been proven to be bad anyway.
which doesn't seem to have brought about any consequences of being consumed just yet.
Yeah, but then again, given how many things Ravenous would claim are not dangerous whatsoever, I'm still a bit dubious of that claim.
Yeah. All right. So
How is that?
I think, yeah. So Nanto just gleaned a bunch of information. It's probably about time to share some of that, at least with Burke. Lyrian's standing nearby. Hala's standing nearby. I'll be playing their roles for this game.
I did wonder what was going to happen with them.
Ooh. So you get to
I mean,
hear me do
I'm-
a Texas accent and an androgynous
Okay.
accent.
What is it? Hold on. What is an androgynous accent?
One that cannot be discerned to be male or female.
Yeah, you'll see how I struggle
But
with
it's
it.
but it's an accent.
That is true.
Yes.
I get
What
get
is
your
the
point.
male accent?
So I have no idea how it goes in English-speaking languages, but apparently if you go towards the Far Eastern ones, such as Japanese, there is a pretty clear distinction how things are spoken by men and women. To the point where someone said that he learned all the language from his wife. She finally introduced him to his family, and they just basically laughed him out the room because he sounded like a young girl who was talking.
Bad for this person.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know.
Oh, that's
Because I'm trying to
fantastic.
picture, like, on my character sheet, oh yes, I speak common, parentheses, man, as opposed to common, parentheses, androgynous.
I mean, you just speak robot, so
I do speak common, robot.
actually that would be androgynous.
Yeah, very good point there.
That
I
would
think
be
it would just be
android.
more, like, neutral, because androgynous just means, like, it's you're unsure of which one. I feel like it's kind of like a share, but like Nanto literally just doesn't.
Yeah, it's sort of the
there's a
difference
lack.
between in the middle and neither.
Yeah, there's like there's in the middle, and then there's not even in the same realm.
Not
Anyways.
applicable.
Language barriers aside,
Yep.
very happily enjoying my crow time.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Caw.
But of course, knowing that they were last seen bringing someone into the barn and then leaving with only 2 of them, the barn would be my next step.
Well, me and Lyroon happen to already be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Except I'm invisible.
So yeah, Nanto, as you stride your way over to the barn, yeah, Schroote's watching all of you, and he's just walking over, standing near the entrance of the barn as you make your way in, just keeping an eye on you, possibly to make sure you're not stealing any turnips. Lyroon, as you walk in, he goes, "So what did you find?"
And just, oh, well, the crows were very nice. That, in particular, was very good information to learn. You see, it's very good to take note of how the other animals in the area respond to things. After all, a happy animal is a happy environment. I imagine he's going to rant for a while until kind of like no, I meant about the... I meant about the mission. Oh, well, 3 came in here and 2 left, so that means that we have some work to do.
So you're just announcing that, and you can see actually what's your passive perception, Nante?
Oh, that's an alarm. My passive perception
sorry,
is
passive insight, I should say.
Passive insight, it's 14.
14. So you see Schrute sort of eyes widen a bit, sort of looking slightly concerned as you're saying that.
So just to check, both me and Schrute would hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just near the barn, so yeah, you'd have overheard all of that. He's definitely overhearing all of that. I don't think.
Nanto's not hiding that at all. He's very much not good at
that. What's Ravenous doing? Miale's just commenting. Ravenous, no greedy. Greed is bad.
All greed for me.
What did I do? Hang on, am I missing something?
No, just inevitably you're going to be stealing something. Are you stealing turnips?
No, they're not shiny, and I've got loads of popcorn right now.
What if these are the shiniest turnips you've ever seen?
Ooh.
If they are turnips made of like emeralds and rubies, then absolutely they're mine.
And trust me, Dwight will act as if they are.
However, the reality is, nah. So, I currently am in the barn with Lyroon. We have looked at the shininess of the swords, but it's not the same shiny. Don't worry, I'm not stealing them. And I'm now invisible. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do a perception check just to have a look and see if I can see anything.
Well, what are you looking for?
Trapdoors and secrets.
You just cut out all of the tunnel that time. There you go. So you're just walking around, eyes scanning the floorboards, looking for any sign of a secret entrance while you're invisibly walking around. And you'd overhear this conversation that's happening.
Okay.
And Dwight...
as well as super in the dark seeing, I also have super long hearing.
No, you're in the barn. They're all in the barn talking about us.
I thought they were outside. Okay,
no. Nanto
clearly not paying enough attention.
Yeah,
My
exactly. Too busy drawing.
Sorry.
So there's a bit of a reaction from Dwight. His eyes widen a bit, and he seems to be a bit surprised.
Would I spot that? Being just near them.
Yeah, he's not particularly trying to mask it, to be fair. I think you'd be able to notice that.
I think Burke would go ahead and comment on that. Well, you seem surprised by that. Did you not know they perused your barn?
More, I did know that you'd find that out from talking to those. Those birds are idiots.
Well, they're smart enough. So, what's the deal with that? And he just, stands in front of Dwight, a bit legs wide, one hand almost as if accidentally on the handle of his weapon. Not quite showing that he's ready to fight for the information, but in case.
I don't see how that's any business of yours, but I suppose. All right, Gertrude, and he calls out to the farmstead, and one of the upper windows in the building open, and you can see this blonde, diminutive lady, quite pale, poke her head out the window. And just calls down, "What?" See? And he just gives no further explanation beyond that.
What? Okay, sorry.
Okay. So, at this point, Burke would just flat out say, well, we think that that person who got brought in is a friend of ours, and not in, and she wouldn't be in a good way at the moment. So, we're trying to help her.
Well, you can see there's only one woman here, and that is my Gertrude, and she is quite all right. Aren't you, Gertrude? And she goes, yes! I guess I am. What's wrong? Who are these people? And he just waves a hand as if to say he'll explain later. But that's about the limit of his explanation to her.
I think Gertrude is also the name of the refugee child as well.
Yeah,
So
well,
you
it's a
very
fairly
bad at
popular
remembering
name.
it.
It's a very popular name in Daggerford. And maybe they're related, you don't know.
Okay.
Would you mind if I rolled inside just to check how believable the story he's telling me is?
Yeah, absolutely.
With a mighty 4.
You're a mighty 4.
A
Yeah,
mighty
my
4.
perception was a 1.
So,
Just FYI.
oh wow, so in that one on the perception.
Yeah.
You have no modifier on your perception.
No.
Yeah, he seems to be telling the truth as far as you can tell.
Yeah, so as far as we can tell, it was Gertrude that got brought in. What had happened to her? And I heard it's not exactly nice when people have to bring you in. And hence, is she all right?
Well enough.
Yeah.
I mean, she had one too many down at the Lady Luck. My cousins were kind enough to bring her back home before she made any more of a fool of herself. I don't have any
Rude.
time for such frivolities. I'm a busy man. Beet farming and turnip farming takes all my time.
So, just
So-
out of character check, Lady Luck is the one that Flashheart frequents.
Lady Luck
Lady
is...
Luck is where Danny DeVito happened to be staying, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Flashheart, you've seen him once in the River Shining. That's about it.
Okay. Still, in either case, we haven't been in Lady Luck often enough to
We've
tell
actually
whether
never.
that's the
We
case.
ourselves haven't been in it, I don't think.
Yep, never visited.
Yeah.
But you'd know of it as a tavern in the town.
Yeah, makes sense.
And in fact, yeah, you would know Danny DeVito was staying there because he said that's where he was staying.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
he told the guards to go.
Burke would just shrug and say, well, not much else for me to say. Say, would the name Will be familiar for you?
And yeah, eyes you for a moment like, no, Will. It's a boy's name, right? No, I don't know any boy's name. Will.
It's a lady, actually. I think she fights in the arena from time to time.
I just told you I'm a busy man. I have no spare time for frivolity like the arena. I mean, come on now. Turnips. Wait.
Would you mind if I did one more insight check
Yeah,
on,
you
on
absolutely
him
may.
recognizing it?
Say, who would like? Have you seen Mike? That's a man's name, yes.
I
No,
mean,
that's
unless-
actually Michaela, and that's a she.
Yeah, like
No, Mikhail. Oh yeah, that's true. I thought you were saying Michaelo.
you. Internally, I'm just thinking like you wouldn't just offer like, Sarah. That's a woman's name. Yes.
So you.
So,
Sorry, go
with a
ahead.
15,
Yes.
how likely do I think that he's twisting the story about not knowing any wills?
Exactly. So from I mean, you know, it's blatantly obvious from his turn of speech, but he seems to be trying quite carefully to not talk about a female will. That said,
Oh.
he certainly is honest in that he never goes to the arenas and he has no time for such frivolities.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't have
That's assumed. Yes, he is a very, very honest. I mean, he would never do anything frivolous. It's all work, no play.
And throughout this conversation, there's still that sort of perpetual etched frown in his forehead, that slight grimace to his lips. In fact, it's almost as if he chooses not to smile.
He's actively trying not to smile.
Exactly. Almost like it would be a sign of weakness.
It is. It's true. Smiling is a weakness. That's why Nanto never does it.
Totally.
That's the reason.
I think the actual Dwight quote is something about chimpanzees do it as a sign of submission.
Fucking Dwight Schrute.
No relation to The Office. This is an original character. We don't see.
Yes. It's a Schrute.
Absolutely.
You see, Schrute is like
It's a shrewd
shortened down
salesman.
It's a shortened down version of I was going to say beetroots, but that doesn't work because it's turnips. Fuck.
No.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Ignore me.
He does both. It's half and half.
It does. Yeah, it's half and half.
Let's not beat around the bush.
Oh.
Alright.
Oh,
Moving swiftly on. So yeah, you clearly tell he's trying to avoid talking. Well, he's been quite obvious in how he's trying to avoid talking about a female will.
Yeah. Well, Rourke would just sigh, just wait a few moments, think about it, and just go, well, all right then. My friends should be figuring everything else out soon. Would you mind if I just looked around your house? Not inside, of course. Wouldn't dare ask for that.
And you wouldn't dare get it. Man's home is his sanctuary. But yes, I mean, if you want
Absolutely.
to waste your time wandering around my farmstead, have at it.
Well, until my companions finish talking to crows, might as well go and waste my time then. Out of character, Burg believes that talking to crows is a valuable way of spending time. But obviously doesn't.
Just in general, he just quite likes crows.
No, I mean, talking to animals, that's fine with his full worldview.
Yeah, Nanto loves talking to animals with magic.
Oh, we know. Oh,
Yeah.
shush! No! Don't say blasphemous words of magic!
I'll pretend not to hear that.
Yeah, I could just imagine like this, like, oh, I love talking to animals. Brooke smiles with magic, of course. Instant frown.
Baruch disapproves.
And during this conversation, Hala's just been watching, because I think Hala's been outside the barn as well, actually. So
She
she's just
was
been,
at the time, yeah.
watching
She
the
actually
street.
was fronting most of the conversation last session.
Yeah. So she's just been watching this whole time, and her eyes like steadily squinting. And yeah, she too was able to spot that slightly strange pattern of speech during that exchange. And she's like, the Texas accent is going to be quite difficult for me to do, but I'll do my best.
Oh no, the British Texan.
It's better than Tuesday and water.
The Braxton accent.
Nah, you gotta get some water. Wudder.
Water.
Water, like udder, but
I could go for a
Water.
glass of water.
Water. Texas accent, okay. What's that
I mean, you don't have to do Texan. I mean, I think we kind of came to the conclusion that actually it's not a Texan accent at all. It's just a kind of southern accent. And it's actually really bad for us to say.
Just gotta throw in a bit of that southern twang to it.
See, there you go.
So this will that you don't know, you've never met her, never even heard of her, never had her dropped off at your barn, say? And Dwight's just, his eyes narrow a bit further. No, I've never met her. She's never been dropped off at my barn.
It's rude of me to ask for another insight
No,
check.
go for it. This is
Well?
the idea. I mean, you can all make insight checks if you wish. I mean, you're presumably all listening to this exchange.
I guess.
Huh.
I mean, Ravenous kind of just, she was looking ineffectually for tunnels, but
That'll be
I'll get
Yep.
to that result in a minute. Yeah, so it's a mixture. Yeah, he definitely knows of her, but as far as you can tell, he's, from what you're saying, she hasn't been dropped off at this barn.
So, from what I can assume is... Oh, actually, I can talk about it in character when we all meet up again.
Okay.
I think let's keep it that. And for the moment, I think Brooke would be walking away from Dwight, around the house. So could you describe the house a little? Is there any guard dogs? Any other pets? Is it two-story house? Are there many windows? So on and so forth.
So it's 2 stories. Yeah, there's windows, pretty much one per wall. It's a minimal amount of consideration given such frivolities, and no dogs. No animals at all, actually, on this farmstead.
Disappointing.
Yeah, there's front door and a back door. Both look oddly sturdy. And actually, when you look closely at the windows, they all clearly been constructed with a fair amount of consideration given sturdiness. So you see, the panes, normally panes would have like just thin slivers of wood. These look to be like almost like metal.
Nice. So, in that case, Burke would just slowly walk around the house until he's on the opposite side of the building from Dwight. And for the moment, just to see if anything else is happening around Dwight.
Okay. So yeah, Burke just starts casually strolling off as promised to just wander the grounds. So while he does that, Ravenous inside the barn invisibly has been carefully inspecting the floorboards, trying to find any sign of a trapdoor. And when I say carefully, she got a nat 1. So most of the time she keeps being distracted by the conversation happening behind her. Keeps eyeing that sword on his hip, and while there's no jewels on it, it is somewhat shiny. It's shiny metal at least.
No jewels.
Just keeps catching her eye, just the glint of sunlight on it, and so she's doing a very, very poor job of actually trying to find any trapdoors. Unsurprisingly, you find none. Just manure, turnips, floorboards, hay. Curious there's hay when there's no animals. And an empty barn. And a bunch of scythes.
The sides, of course. Well, the sides need to be able to cut something, so he just keeps hay around just to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do, Ravenous? That probably takes you, I don't know, a dozen seconds because you nat 1 on it. What else do you do?
I guess my next point of call would be to check the perimeter of the barn for secret tunnels.
What do you mean by the perimeter? Inside or outside?
Outside.
Okay.
Because I've already done the inside and just completely failed in all capacity, so... Yeah,
but you wouldn't be aware of it. So yeah, you can start wandering around outside. So yeah, give me another perception check. Meanwhile, Nanto and Lyroon. So yeah, Nanto, you'd shared that you'd found out from the crows that 3 people come, they'd dropped someone off, and Dwight's explained that to Burrick, which you'd have overheard that was apparently Gertrude, who's too drunk at the tavern. And she'd, given her mannerisms, sort of talking from the window, she doesn't seem to be quite all there, so somewhat believable. And Lyron goes, Do you think that might have been Wildo?
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yes!
Right. Do you know... Well, we need to find her. I mean, if Flashheart's taken her, this could be the evidence we need.
That's great and all, but I'm quite exhausted. I could go for a nice little nap.
Right.
I'd like to sit down and lay down on the hay pile.
Oh my god, I swear to god.
Great.
That's her.
You're about to be stabbed by a needle.
If Ravenous was in the room, she'd have been very upset by that last transaction.
I'm sure there's a logic to it. And Lyroon does not appreciate any such logic. He just puts his hands on his hips and just like tilts his head like, really? This seems like the right time for a nap.
Oh, just to, rest myself.
Right.
It's quite exhausting talking to the birds and all. They are quite nice.
And then Dwight's just staring. He looks like aghast at the concept of just taking a nap in the middle of whatever you're doing. And he's like,
I don't think you're understanding that Nato doesn't need to sleep. That's the issue here. That's why the nap is so arbitrary.
Well, there's probably more to it. And Logan's like, right, well, Have at it, I suppose. I will
Have at it.
do the hard work while you nap. And then turns around. Let's go stride over to Scrhute. So yeah, Nanto, you're going to lay down the hay bale.
I'm going to lay down on the hay because I'm concerned that there could be something underneath it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're
Well, it's a
delving-
good thing that Ravenous isn't here then.
Delving your hands underneath it, seeing if there's anything to find.
Exactly.
Okay, give me a perception check.
I will happily give you that.
Okay.
16. I'm
Okay.
consistent.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
did he find the needle?
Did I find the needle
You'd
in
have
the
to nat
haystack?
20 to find the needle, definitely. Particularly with a metallic body, you wouldn't even feel pain. So it's just
No, you
sort of
just
scratch.
lift your arm and it's sticking in there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Nanto wanders over to the hay bale and just lays down atop it, and then are you doing this subtly?
As subtly as I can.
Yeah. All right. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh yeah! Asking me to make a dex check.
Oh.
Oh, like fire!
Holy
Oh,
balls!
wow. It's 16 again.
Just look at
I
this.
am so consistent.
Yeah, look at that. All right, so Dwight, he looks, he's aghast. He's watching Nanto just wander over to just announce that he wants a nap and just goes off to lie down. But he's soon distracted by Lyroon coming over towards him and starting to pepper him with fairly innocuous questions. It seems to be that he cottoned on that there's something more to what Nanto intended than actually taking a nap, given he doesn't sleep. So let me just cue up some more music.
Well, I'm gonna sit on my headphones.
I think it's time for... Hopefully that works. So and you start moving your hands underneath the hay. It's just sort of spread out on the ground, and you're just feeling around, and you don't find any sign of a secret entrance or secret trapdoor. But what you do find is a significant gap between two of the floorboards. One that would be wide enough to take a look through, but is currently covered by hay. So it would be quite difficult to do that without Dwight noticing.
Yeah, just this would be a great place to nap. But I must adjust the hay for maximum napping. No, I'm not going to do that.
Why? That would be great.
Yeah, just shout out, oh boy, it looks like I'll have to adjust this hay for maximum nappage. I think, so I'm just kind of feeling that gap. I'm
Yeah, so you're just sliding your fingers into it basically. And you can feel that underneath there's empty space. So there certainly does seem to be something somewhere, a basement of some kind underneath this barn. Meanwhile, Ravenous.
Well, now I'm interested.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ravenous, your inspection of the outside. What did you get on your perception check? Did you do it? 10. So you're wandering around the barn, and you can see it's fairly sturdily constructed. More so than any of the other barns you've been seeing when you've been going on your various vegetation hunting adventures. So again, like the house that Buruk has been noticing, it seems to be built for sturdiness. But beyond that, nothing particularly of interest. No loose turnips. Buruk, meanwhile, he's made his way around to the opposite side of the homestead. And what were you keeping an eye out for, sorry?
So I was just waiting until I would be out of Dwight's reach or anything. So I will just shout out loud, "Hey Gertrude!"
And you can hear this sort of thumping footsteps through the house. Someone walking with little care for where they're striding, and just another one of the 4 windows and the whole upper floor opening on the side of the house that you're on. This blonde, pale-faced lady with a considerable mole now that you look a little bit closer on her right cheek. And the blonde hair is like pulled back into an incredibly tight bun, almost like it looks like it would be ripping out her hair. One in the UK would be known as a Croydon facelift.
That's the one. I was trying to think of it.
Yes, a severe expression on her. It's like, yes?
Is Will home?
Who's Will? I don't know Will.
Very good
Ouch.
try.
I was told she's home.
Well, you were wrong. Whoever telling you that, you shouldn't talk to them anymore. They're wasting your time. Do you not know that's the most foul of sins?
Wasting my own time is just fine. Sorry. Well, we'll look for Will elsewhere. Thank you.
You wasted my time and all. And then just slams shut the window and goes back inside.
Huh. And I think it's everyone around the house would have overheard that, at the very least.
Yeah, you won't be told. Dwight's like just squinting angrily in your direction. Like, and as he's talking to Lyroon, he's like, what is wrong with you people? I told you there's no... Will is... Whoever Will is, they're not here. That I'm sure he's just making for certain. We've found there are many unusual circumstances around Daggerford as of late. That was Lyroon speaking.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear.
Just FYI, Ravenous, having heard all the situation there, has decided to walk over to the house and use her slippers of spider climb to walk up the side of the house to the window that Gertrude was just open to talk to Baruch, so that she can have a look in and see what this woman is up to.
Okay. You can give me a stealth check, because while you're invisible, there's still the sound of your footsteps to take into account.
Come on, dice.
So I'll just go to Lou while you're doing that. Oh,
You've got
you've done it. 13.
Over average.
So you make your way over. You're not exactly silent on your feet, but you can start making your way up the side of the house and over towards the window. And it's been slammed shut, but you can still see through it between the sort of metallic bars of the frame. And there you see, you just catch sight of Gertrude moving out of the room. It looks like it's some kind of office. There's a pretty rustic looking wooden desk with an open logbook on it. There's a bookcase against the wall. There's a chest, more like a trunk, I would say. So pretty long and wooden, really dark coloured wood.
Immediately try and get in the house.
The body's inside.
Right, so you can try and make your way inside. I'll need a sleight of hand check, but I'm going to go to Lou now while you do that.
What is with these rolls today? Oh my god. It's like the dice don't want me to be me. I got an 11, just so you know.
Fantastic. I mean, I would roll something, but chances are I'd just get a 16, whatever it is.
That's better than anything I rolled today. It was a 1, a 10, and an 11.
I just got 16 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I think it's no longer worth for you to roll anything.
Yeah, I think I should postulate to Sam here. Hey, would you mind if I just didn't roll anymore and just took 16 on everything?
Everything.
So, I had portents, and it's kind of stuck on 16.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I've overdosed on portents today, so...
Yep.
Sorry, what is portents?
So, one of the wizard subclasses, Divination Wizard, gets a feature where every long rest, so each morning, they get to foresee future. So they roll two d20s, and these are called portents. And throughout that day, at any point, whenever a d20 is rolled, they can see, don't bother, I foresaw this. Take one of these d20s that I've already rolled.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I don't remember whether you can see what it would have been otherwise before declaring this is going to be a portent. I think you can.
I think in a live game, you have to declare it before it's rolled.
Okay, got it.
Normally in play by post, I think that's ignored just because of the nature of play by post.
Yeah, makes sense.
But for live, I think technically you basically have to say like, I'm casting hold person, but I foresaw them rolling my 3.
Yep, that makes sense.
Or
But-
like, or if you have like a 20, you could sit there and your rogue could be like, I'm going for the stab, and you can be like, I knew he'd crit this stab.
Yeah, it's just like execute order 6d6.
Execute order 66.
I mean, I'm gonna just like nod and pretend I understand for now. Yeah, and then we can
Wait,
continue.
Do you not know Order 66?
She might not actually.
Oh my
dear.
god. I almost said original. It's the God, what do you even call them now?
I know,
The
like Rule 64 or something like that.
Oh
but-
no, it's not that.
Star Wars Phantom Menace, or which one it is, but in that trilogy,
The
Anyway.
episode 3 one.
too much context. Long story short, it's a meme about killing people.
Okay.
It's the order to kill all the Jedi children.
Not
all
the
Jedi.
children.
No, just all the Jedi.
Yeah,
Don't
all
stop with
Jedi.
children.
Oh,
Okay, that's fine then, as long as it's not just targeted at children.
but it also does kill all the children.
But the
Uh,
children was a part of it, so.
Yeah, I know, but it's not just in order to kill children, so it kind of somehow makes it
Well, that
better.
was
in
the
my
easiest part of the order. But anyway, so
Luke, your father's lightsaber. He killed many younglings with this.
Ah!
right. Well, I don't know how we got into that, but so yeah, Ravenous. Yeah, you were trying to slip inside. So yeah, 11 on the sleight of hand check. It's not particularly great. So yeah, you.
I mean, it would be able to get in, but not necessarily quietly.
Yeah, that's along the lines. So yeah, you move your hand over to the crack between the two window panes and just slip your fingers in and start trying to pull it open. And you can feel a slight tug, and it seems like there's some kind of latch there on that the windows have caught on. And there's just this rattle that shakes through the window frame as you try and tug at it. It's quite audible.
That's fine because Gertrude left the room.
Mm-hmm. Well, you
She
just saw her leaving the room. Of course, being the highly experienced rogue, well, warlock actually, but roguish warlock that you are, you're well used to breaking into homesteads. So it's but a moment's consideration, then you just get your mage hand out and just take off the latch on the inside and slip your way in. After making.
I never thought about that. Can you cast Mage Hand through a window or any other option?
Wall like that?
If there's a gap, absolutely.
Don't know.
So you're basically saying that if there's a door that can be only opened from one side, that's not going to stop anyone.
Yeah. As long as there's no protective wards or anything, it's just within range that you can see. So yeah, as long as you can
I
see
never-
through it.
That's great.
Oh, that's insane.
And that's why all nobles have locks on their windows. But this is Dwight Schrute.
He doesn't have time for such frivolities.
Yeah.
As long. If someone were to get into his house, he would challenge them to combat himself.
He
With
secretly
sides.
hopes that happens.
I mean,
I hope someone tries to invade this home.
I would imagine that he runs his farm efficiently enough that there's no valuables just being stored. No, everything's being used at the moment.
Exactly. It's
True.
just a perfect, what's it, just in case business model. Everything's in use or just about to be used at all times. So you get the window open, you're able to slip your way inside, but fairly noisily, and you actually hear the sound of Gertrude's footsteps moving away suddenly cease, and you can hear the turning of a heel on wood. She seems to be turning around to come back.
It doesn't matter, I'm invisible anyway, bitch.
Exactly. So you make your way inside. What do you do? So you're through the window. What do you do now?
Through the window, I close the window as quietly as possible and latch it back again.
Sleight of hand check.
Nat 1, here we go!
Wait, is it really?
No.
No,
not yet.
it's just that
Oh.
literally everything I've rolled so far has been dirt.
I was
18.
hopeful.
18. Yeah. So you silently are able to get the window closed again, latch it back up, as if you'd never been there, and with you invisible, that should be fine. Meanwhile,
And I make my way to the corner so that I'm not in front of the window.
Okay. Yeah, so you're just getting out of the way. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Brooke, so you you called out to Gertrude. Then what did you do?
I think not much, frankly. I would just be walking around, seeing if there's anything that I see very much out of ordinary.
Mhm.
But frankly, just doing my best to look as inconspicuous as possible after everything I've done.
Patrolling, investigating, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Give me an investigation check. Why not? See if
19.
19. Wow. So yeah, just patrolling around the sides of the house. You just see that it's, as before, it's incredibly sturdily constructed. You do see around the back, near the back door, there is one patch of wall that seems to have been repaired. Almost like there was a sizable hole punched through it once. You can see it's just this outline of discoloured woods. There's just slightly different woods being spit in place to replace it.
Curious.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Curious punch through the wood.
What do you do with that information? Sorry.
I would try to lean against that bit of the wall, just to see if that gives any odd sound.
I mean, there's a slight creak, but it seems very sturdy.
It's just what you would expect from a wall.
Yeah, especially from a Scrhute repair of a wall. It seems like he's done a very good job.
Yeah, makes sense. I
You
think
also
that-
find. Oh, sorry.
With that, I wouldn't be doing much else, just slowly walking around.
Mhm.
I mean,
You find a curious thing. I don't think it's something that a hobgoblin would have really come across much during their upbringing. What it looks like to you is like a long plank of wood that's atop of a sort of semicircle block of wood that raises it up off the ground, and it's just sort of slanting down one side, resting on it, and there's a pair of like handlebars on each side at the opposite ends of that plank of wood.
on the half-round side or on the flat one?
On the flat one, sorry. So out of character, it's a seesaw.
Yeah, I was about to do that.
But to Burke, it would just be mystifying.
Yeah, it's... I mean, shoot, that sounds like... I wonder what that tool is for.
It looks
That
frivolous.
tool.
So, meanwhile, inside the barn, Nanto has been slipping his hands inside that crack in the floorboards, and he's certain that there is a...
Way too naughty.
Whoa.
and he's certain there's a cavernous space within.
Y'all nasty.
I'm sorry, but he
What?
just
Over
literally
there.
said puts his hands through that crack. I'm like,
I know my audience.
oh,
So
dear
what's
God.
Nanto doing?
So I found this, and Mr. Scrhute, is he still watching from the barn?
Actually, he seems to be looking off towards Burrick's direction. Well, the opposite side of the house, and he seems to be sort of caught in indecision. He wants to walk away and watch Burrick, but he also wants to keep an eye on you. But seeing as you're just laying down on the hay, he looks like he's getting ready to go walk after Burrick and see what he's up to.
I will most certainly look like I'm napping. I would like to, essentially, if he walks off, I'm gonna go investigate that hay bale.
Okay, give me a deception check. Just see how convincingly you're napping.
How convincing does it have to be? He
Well,
just
not-
has to turn
not
off
very
his
at
blinky
all.
blues.
Yeah, no, it was a very low DC. It's basically just to see if you nat wand.
Yeah,
Oh.
basically just to see if you start snoring out loud before you close your eyes.
The Warforged starts to make snoring noises.
Z. So yeah.
Oh my God, I would have loved that so much. Sorry.
Just laying there, yeah, you do. I mean, it's not too hard to pretend to be napping, especially seeing as your oddities anyway. So you just lay fairly still. Yeah, 11 gets you good enough. So yeah, Scrhute, yeah, he'd been talking quietly with Lyroon, and he just holds up a hand, saying, "Wait here," and then starts striding off in Brooke's direction to see why he's harassing Gertrude. What are you doing? Don't waste her time.
No, sorry, that's all done. Apologies. So, Brooke just knocks on the slightly broken-in wood. So, I see you had some trouble here recently, didn't you?
damp, frightful stuff. It eats away at the walls. I had to cut it all out and replace it myself. But you can see, Scrhute craftsmanship is the best craftsmanship.
Of course it is.
Indeed, indeed.
So, yeah.
Say, there's an interesting tool I see over there. Is that the squash beat? I haven't seen one like that ever.
I love this.
Yes, and he looks genuinely proud. Like his chest is puffing slightly, and as he looks over to puts his hands on his hips. That is the Scrhute Beater 3000. You see,
Oh my god.
my wife and I, we take an end each, and we bounce
Oh, God!
atop the beets and put turnips and smush them, and it creates a wonderful puree.
Curious. Must say I haven't seen one of these in any of the other farms. Obviously, again,
Well,
a
the Scrhute-
uniqueness of fruits.
Exactly. The Scrhute family is innovative, hard-working. We are proud of our work. And meanwhile, over in the barn...
May I go for an insight with disadvantage? Because while I haven't seen a seesaw, I haven't ever seen smushed up beets either.
Yeah, you absolutely may.
This is layers now. Yeah.
That seems fair enough. It's
yeah.
definitely unique to fruits.
Nat wanting. Yeah, so it's. I mean, who knows what it's for? You've never seen such a contraption.
Nope.
Trust in his word.
Yeah, I think frankly that it all checks out as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, this guy seems like he would be the type to invent such a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the barn, so yeah, Nanto, yeah, you lay perfectly still. I mean, that's relatively easy to do as a Warforged. Masquerading is asleep. What do you do now he's out of sight?
I am moving that hay aside and investigating that crevasse.
Now remind me, do you have dark vision of any kind?
I don't believe I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, give me a perception check at a disadvantage then.
Yeah, absolutely do not. Fantastic.
Yeah, good timing. One sec.
It's another 16!
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Look at that. Wow.
Is it a 16?
Another
It's a
16
16!
from Nanto. It's
Are you
like,
serious?
it's how, it's like 4?
Yep.
It's the fourth 16 today, baby!
Wow.
In a row
Shut your
specifically.
freaking mouth. Oh my god.
So looking within, and again, you don't have dark vision, so it's somewhat limited, but you're able to make out through this crack, and it's about probably about an inch wide. It's just where there's a slight warping in the boards that lets you get a proper look in. You can see what looks to be a stone cellar of some kind. It seems to be mostly empty, but you can see over against one wall there is a slumped humanoid form. They look small, small and maybe Halla size.
Oh,
So that's too small to be Will, most likely.
that's not Will then, right? Because Will was a human.
As you've had them described, they were a human who fought in the arena. So seemingly not Will, but you can see there's a slumped humanoid form up against that wall in the cellar. They don't seem to be moving. Elsewhere you can see in the cellar there's I mean, as I say, it's quite hard to make out much detail, but with a 16 perception, even at disadvantage, you're able to see there's a few sort of marks that stand out against the walls of this cellar, and there's a table, and there's metallic objects littered across the table, but that's about all you're able to make out.
Yeah, so I can't see very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a person in here. Like I should say a humanoid figure.
Yeah, exactly.
A
A small humanoid figure seems to be down there.
Excellent. Well, see, this is an issue. So Nato doesn't have dark vision, and I don't have the light cantrip. So instead, I would like to cast Fairy Fire down here.
Oh my gosh.
Because Fairy Fire causes you to shed light in a 10-foot
Yeah.
radius.
No, that'll work perfectly. Meanwhile, Nanto, he's just sort of rolled onto his front. He's just held his face right up to this crack in the floorboards, and he's just seen something of interest. Meanwhile, Hala is standing just outside of the barn, and just watching Scrhute walk off to go to converse with Buruk about beat crushing using his special device. Ravana seems to have she's invisible, so who knows what she's doing. And Lyroon's just standing in place, watching Scrhute walk off, and then just staring curiously at Scrhute. Now, what's Hala up to?
Well, I don't know. Hala's not here.
Oh, but
Hello.
she is.
Oh!
And this.
Salutations!
Wait, what? Oh my god! Ah! Sorry. I obviously missed this while I was away. Wenching.
No, I somehow you managed to slip silently in. It didn't make any noise for me either.
It did the issues that you're currently streaming.
Oh,
So Discord
Ah.
suppresses all things like that while streaming.
interesting. All right, well, hello, Hala.
I mean, Hala.
Yep. Hello.
Hello. So,
Save us from the British Texan accent.
yeah, please,
please.
please. I was struggling so hard to try and do a Hala voice. I think I do a better job Lyroon's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just remember everything that was going on. It was so you got Naoto, who's down in the basement or somewhere else.
He's
So there was-
He's above the basement in a hay bale, but he's
Yeah, so-
been looking through cracks.
There's a
He's
stack
been
of
busy
hay
napping.
that I went to nap on the hay bale because I am a human who needs sleep and gets tired. And in doing so, I found that there was a crack underneath the hay, and I expertly napped Wink on the hay bale until Scrhute left. And now I'm about to cast Fairy Fire down there.
Nap,
Because-
Wink.
Because Nanto's looking at it and going, "Oh, I can't see anything. That won't do. Oh, I know the trick."
So meanwhile, so basically what's happened since last episode is, it's mostly just talking, a bit of investigation, looking around the barn, and Buruk's just wandering around the farmstead, and he's mostly just distracting Scrhute. Ravenous has slipped her way inside the actual home, but you wouldn't know that because she's invisible. And
from what we can gather, they do know about Will, but not exactly willing to talk about it.
Yeah, they know.
Willing.
Yeah.
Will.
Yes.
They seem to know of her, but aren't. But also seem fairly convinced that she's not here.
Okay.
Oh, so
at-
what you're saying is they might not know she's here.
Who knows?
Ah,
But
interesting.
Hala, you and Lyroon have been outside the barn, mostly just talking with Scrhute, trying to keep his eyes on you. But yeah, he's just walked off to go chat with Buruk, so you're kind of at a loose end at this point. So you just see Nanto seems to have his face pressed to the floor, staring into it, with no explanation.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nanto doing
Not
something
surprised.
that's completely unexplainable, and no explanation is of it. Never seen that
That
happen.
equals normal.
Half
I mean,
the course.
I kind of have am up in the air on this one too. It's the only
Oh, you're pretty quiet, by the way.
Lost you
Yeah.
there, yeah.
oh
Now you're silent.
Oh, silence.
Whatever adjustment you made, I think broke your microphone.
Yeah, now we can't hear you at all.
Come back.
Return to us.
Hala!
Ah,
Alright, well,
I heard it.
while we're waiting for that fix, Nanso, remind me again, I always ask this, your fairy fire.
hello.
There we go, now we can
Oh,
hear you.
we're
Perfect.
here.
Much better.
Okay, I don't know what I did, but I just really just turned the mic thing off and on again. So I guess that's all I needed.
The universal
universal
fix for everything.
That works for everything.
I love that we both said universal fix as well. True
Yeah.
married life.
It's totally true though, isn't it?
You're just the same people. What can we say?
Same name.
I mean,
same
Sam,
person.
Same
Married,
name, same
wait.
person, obviously.
Yeah. It's great because we've even got the same middle initial as well.
No, God. Oh
I mean-
my.
What can I say? Imagine having a middle name.
So Hala, you've seen Scrhute walk off. You're seeing Nanto. He's got his face he had been just deciding to nap in the hay, and then now has just suddenly turned over and has got his head pressed up against the floorboards and seems to be getting ready to cast a spell.
Just set everything on fire.
You don't see where Ravenous is. Burrick's over on the opposite side of the house, and Lyrin's just standing next to you. What do you do?
I do remember that that Ravenous has invisibility from the tower. So at this point, and if I'm seeing Naoto acting stranger than usual, I guess I could reason that he's found something. So I guess at this point, just keeping Turnip Head's attention on us.
Turnip Head.
You're gonna go join Burrick and keep Schrute, Turnip Head.
I was gonna say it's Turnip Head. Okay.
He's now Turnip Head. Attention, you guys. So trying to think. So you start making your way over that way. As you stride over, you start catching wind of Burrick's conversation with him. It seems to be they're talking about something called the Beat Crusher 3000.
I think it was called the Schrute Beater, actually.
The Schrute Beater 3000. That was it. And he's talking quite animatedly now, and he's gesturing towards what looks like. I don't know if you would have come across one of these before, a seesaw. I don't know if Hala would have come across such a device.
Oh, Hala, I thought you meant just us in general.
As a human being.
Yeah, were she? Well, no, she would have been too. She was still too young, really, to even defend herself. So she wouldn't even know about that. That would just come down to her mentor. Wait 1 second.
Okay.
So most likely that's a no.
Yeah, I think
so. There's a decent chance that he will take the story as well.
Yeah, it might be legitimate. I mean, just because it looks like a seesaw, you don't know how he's using it. Burrick, what's your reaction? So you nat one your insight. You fully believe.
Yeah, with not one insight, I would be asking so how come it's no one else uses these. How do everyone else deal with this problem then? Of just squashing your produce?
Well, idiots, who aren't looking for efficiencies. Well, they just, take tools like mallets and start mashing them up. Have to hire in people. It's a travesty that anyone wastes such time. I, of course, devised the most efficient way of going about it.
That's my respect to you, good sir. So, is it just you and Gertrude living here nowadays?
Well, I mean, we had others, but they didn't really sign up to the Schrute code, or I'm Dwight specifically. We like to use acronyms around here, so what we look for in workers, they've got to be determined workers, they're intense, good workers, hard workers, terrific. They're few and far between. So just the two of us who work around here, really.
I imagine even fewer once they find out that you wouldn't, given all the troubles of these lands, living produce, all that.
Well, it's worked out quite well for us, really, because with few and far crops being produced, there's ample demand for beets and turnips. Even more than usual, of course. I mean, who can go a day without a turnip in their diet?
True, I couldn't.
Meanwhile,
Burrick would just give the.
Nanto could never go a day without eating.
Never in his entire life.
Meanwhile, inside the farmstead, Ravenous, she slips her way inside, closes the window with expert quietness, and just prowls her way to the right of it, just in time to see Gertrude come into the room, and she's got a similar frown, a Schrute frown upon her forehead. And she scans across the room suspiciously, her nose slightly wrinkled, and actually she starts inhaling. as if she's trying to actually smell out any sign of intruder.
That's not fair. Mm-mm.
Doesn't seem to find anything significant, and she just walks over to the window and starts fiddling with it, looking at it to make sure, because she distinctly heard the window rattle. And she
No, I
just
don't do that.
looks out and just starts peering out of it. Ravenous, what are you doing while she's investigating the window?
Oh, I'm just watching. I'm not gonna take a chance on a shit roll.
So you're just standing frozen in place, like.
I'm just in the corner where I moved to, just sitting there, just watching what she's doing and waiting for my moment when she leaves.
Okay, so yeah, she's rattling at the window and checks it's secure and seems satisfied after a few moments. Looks out at it, shoots a particularly dirty look towards Buruk as she's talking with her husband, seeming to suspect that he had tried to do something with the window, and then after a good dozen seconds turns around and walks back out, beelining straight out into the corridor. So, you're in the room once more, you're on your own, you're inside the farmstead. What do you do?
I want to briefly glance at the log that's on the desk.
Okay.
To see what that says.
Give me now. What kind of depth are you going into? Are you trying to read it meticulously? Are you just flipping through the pages?
Well, no, I want to look at the. Basically, I want to look at the page that's open.
Okay.
Oh wait, is it not open?
No, it's open.
I thought you said.
Yeah, it's open.
I want to see the page that's open and see what that says and see if it's of anything of interest.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation, that would be a -1 modifier. Oh, but I got an 18, so 17 overall is all good for me.
Pretty good. So, as you say, it was open on a page. Your eyes flick over it and you're absorbing the detail. And it looks like, now if it wasn't such a good investigation check, you'd have probably just seen what looks like turnip sales logs.
But what did I actually see? People sales logs!
But you're looking closely at this and you're seeing a few key details pick out to you. One, that a good quantity of the lines seem to be for pretty pitiful values of money, but one in particular stands out as being substantially higher in value than the other lines of the log. And when you see who it's made out to, the initials are FH.
Never heard of those.
And you can see it's there's 600 gold has been logged in this record.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's silly amount for a farmer.
Exactly. That is, in fact, give me an intelligence check.
Oh,
I know it's not your specialty. This is just to calculate flavour. It's harsh.
I have -1. Oh, good. 8.
So I think you would know that seems like too much money for a farmer, but that's about it. Okay. You've lived as an urchin on streets, but yeah, you would know that seems like too much money. So yeah, 600 gold down against initials FH. That picks out from the logs for you on that open page.
May I flit to find similar logs?
You can start flicking through the pages, absolutely.
I will do
how many pages? And again, are you just looking for other things?
Basically, so it'll kind of be like going back, because I assume where we are now is like the most current. So
you can see with that investigation roll, you'd see the dates is this week.
So I'll start flitting back in the pages and sort of like I assume what I'd be looking for is like, all the numbers of the sales seem normal, but whenever there's if it's obvious that there's a larger sum than normal, I'd be like, and I'd sort of take note in my mind like how many of those there were. And check the name next to it, the initials.
Okay, give me an investigation check again.
One. No, I'm joking. It probably
I mean,
will
at some
be
point
now.
It's a very
it's going to go
dangerous
badly.
show.
But we'll see how you do.
That is an 8.
Okay, so you start flicking back through the pages, and you know you've never had much patience for logbooks and admin. You know, I mean, living as an urchin on the streets, you actually never had to deal with any of that. It's a bit of a miracle that you can read at all. But
Orphanage education. I told you. I got to the point of reading and writing, and then I left.
okay, so you've got the skills you needed, but you know
FYI.
it's a child level of reading and writing. So you know it's just numbers, and you're flicking through it, and you can see now that you've seen FH, you know that's roughly what to look out for, and you can see there's one or two other records like that, but there's nothing else that particularly leaps out at you.
How the records that I've seen like that, are they the same sort of amount that seems a bit out of instance?
Yeah, they all seem for too high.
And all of those are against flashcards specifically.
Well, it says FH.
Yeah.
So Ravenous might not be able to work it out necessarily, but she'll be like, okay, well, there's been these couple of like logs for FH, and they're like a lot of money. So
And whoever's the FH guy is, he's generous.
yeah, exactly. This
Really
this
likes
FH.
turnips. Maybe he's paying for the puree.
Maybe he just wants to beat some shroots.
Ah.
I knew I'd get one of you.
So, oh, my music stopped. So yeah, you're flicking back through the pages, and yeah, you're starting to work out. Seems to be a few logs along those lines. So, anything else you do, Ravenous?
My attention then very quickly turns to the trunk in the room.
Okay. So
It's
yeah,
attached to the elephant in the room, but we won't talk about it.
so you
It's
start.
a pink elephant.
You're flicking back through the pages, and yeah, you're seeing a few more of the same kind of thing. You just grow a bit bored, and it's like, it's this sort of tickling in the back of your mind that there is a trunk in this room.
But because I'm a thief, I know to leave the crime scene the way I found it, so I flick back to the original page.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you flick your way back, and yeah, it's back to this.
I'm like, boring.
Okay, and then turn around, fingers twitching, and start making your way over to the trunk. Meanwhile, over in the barn, a certain bard has decided to let loose a fairy fire. Now, remind me, how do you do fairy fire, Dante? Is it emerald?
It's kind of like a, well, I can make it any I want, but it's like a light greenish.
Yeah, cool. So this light green, this pulse of light just starts washing outwards to form, I think it's cube, the fairy fire, isn't it?
Yes.
And it
so a 20-foot cube.
And it paints every single thing in its path, the floor, every object.
Every object within range is outlined in green light.
Exactly. So it's this wave of light washes it outwards. All of the that table, all the tools along the table, and the tools along it, they're not particularly pleasant looking ones. They all look sharp and painful looking, and those things that you'd seen along the wall, now that you're able to see them painted in light, they look like hooks, or like a sort of like what's the term? Something that a chain would link onto, basically. And you can see
Probably
chains.
a link.
Oh, what? Link?
No?
A link? I don't know. But things that chains would connect to all along the wall.
Carabine?
Sorry?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether
Carabiners are very different. It's more. Carabiners are like the ones, sort of hooks that you can push inwards to clasp.
Yeah, which is what I understood from the insect's
like
pitch.
that. And
That's
then,
far too modern.
and then the small humanoid form you see finally
Is now
painted
covered.
with them unconscious. There's no dexterity check to dodge a fairy fire or anything like that. And you can see
Right.
it's a slumped form. They're unconscious, they're unmoving, but they are breathing. You can see the steady rise and fall of a chest. And you can see
So they look injured.
injured or just asleep. It's hard to tell. You can't see any blood on them, at least. But you can see it's...
Because everything's painted green.
and they're slumped forward. They're wearing what looks like almost like a common sack for clothing. It's they clearly haven't. That's not what normal clothing would pass as. But it's got holes cut out on the side, almost like a shift, made out of very rough spun clothing. They've got a thick greyish white beard that pours down their fronts, and looking at them painted in light, you would be able to recognise the race. It's a gnome, and you can see that the top of the head is completely bald. You can make out there's a few dots. From what you've seen of humanoids, this is something that happens to them as they get older. They seem to get dots on their heads sometimes.
So this is an aged humanoid. Got it.
Exactly. This is an old...
Even the beard didn't help.
Yeah, the big fluffy beard. Well, he's painted green, so it's quite hard to tell. But you can see there's dots on his head that indicates he's old, and you can see his wrinkles to him. You definitely make out his male thanks to the beard. He's got a fairly bulbous nose. He's slumped forward, and he seems to be looking at his arms. There's two of those hooks on the wall again, and he seems to be chained to the wall.
Oh.
Well, that won't do. Nato makes a note that when he gets older, to paint spots on his head to be more comfortable for other humans.
That's fantastic.
Does he even have a head?
He's got a head.
He does? I just assumed he was like a void.
He is the void.
So, what? I'm going to change the music because that's definitely not the right tone for what you just saw.
I was gonna say, you see someone chained up and tortured.
Smooth jazz.
High school elevator music.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. This is actually wonderful. I have telekinesis.
So this was
Okay.
the music.
But they can't respond back to you because you have the...
Oh no, telekinesis is moving stuff. You're thinking...
Oh yeah, not
telepathy.
Sorry. I feel stupid. Okay,
No,
carry on.
all
I
good.
make that mix up all the time.
So, the thing is, those instruments and such that are down there, you said they're the glowing objects that are, not quite that savory,
Yeah.
not quite kosher,
Sharp and dangerous.
sharp and dangerous. Do they have, are they coated in maybe perchance a bit of blood?
Would you know if it's painted green now?
Yeah, it would look black. You could still see that there is something on them.
Okay.
That they're not clean at the very least. Hopefully.
Give me a flat perception check now that it's all brightly lit.
It's a 16. Why do you bother?
17, almost.
Oh,
These bowls, man. So you're looking at them just a bit more closely, and again you're looking for a crack in the floorboard, so it's quite hard to get proper detail, but you can't see any obvious signs of blood on them. They look pretty clean, much like the scythes.
He's going to kind of pressing his from the outside it looks like he just spoke something into the floorboard and then pressed his face into it again. But Nanto is thinking, oh no, that will never do. I need a closer look. Come here, little thing. And I'm going to use my telekinetic mage hand to grab it and just lift it up towards the crack.
nice.
I can make the mage hand invisible and cast it without verbal or somatic components, and its range is 30 feet.
It's like the ultimate thief. So that's easily done. You don't wake the unconscious or sleeping gnome, and just pluck up the nearest instrument and begin lifting it up towards you. Is this to get a better look at it?
Yes, and to collect evidence.
Gotcha. So this one is what essentially looks like Do you know what a cigar cutter would look like?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's what you've picked up.
Ooh. Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'm
Wait,
thinking of that Mission Impossible scene that I've never been able to watch. I had to just close my eyes each time.
Now I need a reference. Oh. I
Okay,
could see a couple things that could happen with that. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, fingers. No.
No fingers anymore.
No fingers anymore. Finger be gone. Ooh.
Not a fan.
I'm gonna take the time to kind of like, because I have this telekinesis, and Nanto would definitely be playing around with this. I'd basically be taking and lifting and trying to see which of these implements is most incriminating.
Alright, so that we don't all have to just witness a litany of horrendous torture devices. Let's skip to the most horrible one.
Preferably one that has any kind of blood on it, so that we can make a case as evidence.
Okay. You don't find any with blood on them, I'm afraid. Yeah, it looks like there's some that have signs of wear and tear and use. But it looks like whoever's the user of these tools takes incredible care to maintain them in good
Who do we
condition.
know who takes incredibly good care of tools?
Now, to be fair, that's not enough to accuse the person on its own, is it? It depends on how incredible it is, of course. But
You just come into the trial. Now, would you say you take good care of your tools?
well, this one is taken care of.
This one was taken care of. Nobody else would do that.
I am a powerful deduction artist. I know everything.
So there's one that
I am-
looks more heavily used than all the others, and that is quite
Let's
a
pick that
simple
one.
device. It's essentially looks like a poker, like for a fire, and it's got this sort of black. While it's being cleaned, there's like a black char to the metal.
Ooh. Yeah, let's take that one.
Okay.
The music still doesn't match the tone, but I'm
So
not going to change it.
It's
I
no,
can-
come on, it's a Nanto investigation. It doesn't matter
I
what he's
can
found.
turn up my sounds. In that case, you will get a police sound somewhere in the background.
I did hear a fire.
No, we didn't hear that
So-
this time.
Mr. Scrhute is.
Okay.
I kind of like remove my face from the hole and look over. Schreute's not in sight, right?
No. You would see Hala watching you, looking a bit sort of confused. Lyroon just like mid eye roll and just leaning against the wall, just seeming to think you're doing your usual oddities.
But Nanto's just gonna wave as he makes the poker levitate out of the crack.
Yeah, it's just like hello, and there's just this this slightly blackened metal poker just starts rising up out of the floorboards, and it's exactly as it sounds. It's like a leather gripped handle and then a metallic spike, and it seems to be blackened metal, and even the leather grip seems to be slightly blackened as well. And it just levitates up, and they're just both looking at you like, huh.
He's going to bring a shh to his face, and then it slowly just goes into his pack.
It's just, if they were going her before, they're just like, okay. Hannah went off to go help distract you, actually, so it's just like Irene just watching you like, I guess you found something helpful.
Oh, it was terrible down there.
Right.
Did you know? There's a person down there.
Oh. Ow.
Is it
Sorry, the cat.
Will?
Oh, it's not Will, though. No, too short. Spots on
Too
there.
old.
Too bearded.
Should we
Too male.
not Will? I mean, are they okay?
Well, they are asleep and chained to a wall, and there's horrible instruments down there, but I think they're okay. They are breathing, which is the hallmark of humans being alive.
Well, quite, but we can't leave them down there.
I never thought of that. But we could get them out.
Oh no.
And Lyrene just starts looking around, trying to find any way to get into this basement. Let's do a... Hang on, I need to get Lyrene's stat sheet up. Character sheet.
No! Sorry, I had a cat whisker that I was playing with, but it's gone now.
That's very important.
It is when the cat's...
So... Yeah, wow, okay.
24.
Yeah, it's pretty good, 24 perception. So Lyrene's just looking around all the floorboards that are within any kind of visual range. So already you've rummaged through the turnips. You specifically, Nanto, have rummaged through the hay, and he's not able to see any sign anywhere inside the barn of a trap door that's visually within range, and just seems to be looking increasingly frustrated. There must be a way in. There's a basement here. How are they getting in and out? And eventually his eyes settle upon the pile of manure.
Oh,
no.
And
sorry,
then
you don't have a nose.
And then she looks to Nanto. No, he looks to Nanto rather. I mean, that's the only place it can be, right?
Oh, perhaps it is a grand illusion.
Only one way to find out.
All right. And here we go. And he's just gonna go in.
Ah! Face first.
Just dives in.
I mean, for him, it's about akin to a pile of dirt. He doesn't
Yeah,
really see
he
much
doesn't
of a
mind.
difference.
Oh, he will smell after this, alright.
Right, so yeah, you dive in. I assume you're just like feeling the ground.
Yeah, feeling for a way in.
So you're blindly feeling. I won't even need a perception check for this because you're just specifically searching the ground underneath the pile of manure. And,
Coming to himself. 22. I'm on a roll today.
I was gonna say I didn't need a perception check, but yeah, 22. You very promptly find it. And there's this outline of a trapdoor, and you can feel there's a metal rung underneath the manure, but the weight of the manure weighs it down. So you'll need to figure out a way around that. Meanwhile, Burek and Hallam
Right.
with Scrhute. So you'd been discussing the was it the Scrhute Beta, the Scrhute Beta 3000, and you'd you've never seen anything like this. You firmly believe that this is exactly what it is that he says it is.
It's most curious, really, but oh, definitely working then. So, you mentioned that your parents used to grow crop here, didn't they? Grain, perhaps even.
The Scrhute family has lived here for generations. It's a proud family tradition to grow crops for the city or town of Daggerford. You know, some call it a city. I call it a city, but it's not too big. But yes, we used to grow grains back in the day. You might have seen my collection of scythes. They're family heirlooms. I take immaculate care of them.
I see. And have you ever tried growing animals as well?
Animals.
Yeah? Pigs? Oxen?
Well,
You know, something more edible.
then turnips. And he has a genuine look of disgust in his face at even such a concept. You would think that they might be profitable, but livestock can let you down. Crops can get disease, turnips can't. But crops can get disease, but livestock easily succumb. All it takes is one disinterested breeder, and you're out of business. No, we Schrutes, we know where the money's to be made, and that is in beet and turnips.
That I can respect. And with that, Burke would just look at Hava. Is there really anything else for us to see here? I think it's clear that Mr. Schrute takes care of his crops and there's no chance of infestation here. Not especially when... By the way, did anyone even turn up offering to to make your crops grow crazily.
Turn up.
Ah! Oh my god! That's hilarious.
I get it.
What do you mean? Are you joking?
Turn up.
Turn
Turn it. Right. Jeez.
And you
Wow.
call yourself a heart.
Yeah, I call myself a punis.
That was amazing.
It was beautiful.
At least I don't meet your puns with
We had there's a visitor maybe a month ago.
A druid of sorts.
There was a druid, yes. He was promising some kind of arcane enhancements. I knew well enough to tell him to sod off.
Oh.
Wise actions, because looks like the Lady Daggerford herself has her eye on catching him. We are a bit on the lookout for him, you see.
And the druid? Well,
Yes.
I can understand why. I mean, there's, from what I hear, the farmsteads out east there running amok. Have you seen?
Oh, they are.
Well, suffice it to say, we won't let the beets and turnips turn that way. We Schrutes, we know what good farming looks like, and we don't take shortcuts. We use the land, the fertilizer of manure, the Scrhute Beater 3000.
Ugh. Sorry.
We know what good hard work looks like. Meanwhile, over in the farmstead proper, inside the house. So Ravenous, you've been prowling your way towards the trunk. It is locked.
Well, it's a good thing I have sleight of hand then, isn't it?
Oh, it's less sleight of hand. It's more a dexterity check with proficiency. So just give me a dex check and we'll add on your proficiency. It's one of those
7.
funny skill
No,
checks.
10.
With proficiency, or should I add on?
It
did you
depends what you mean by proficiency.
Well, what did you
I
roll?
rolled a 7, but I got +3 to that because I
Alright.
guess that's my proficiency.
So you rolled a 7. Well, where did you roll this?
In the D&D Beyond.
Yeah, it's not good. Spencer has D&D.
So I rolled a 7 and it gave me +3 for my dexterity modifier.
Cool. Okay, so that's 10 plus proficiency, which is 3, so that gives you a 13 in total. So yeah, you get out your thieves' tools, which essentially amounts to a pin and a couple of pins, and you start pulling away at the lock, and you can feel the first tumbler click into place, and you start pulling away, rattling away, and second one comes into place. Third one though, just as you're about to click it into place, you can just feel the other two reset.
Ah!
It's not particularly audible. It's not like it rings through the entire house announcing your presence, but unfortunately, his first attempt was not successful. Can you try one more time?
Okay, so that's... Sorry for the shouting.
You've got this.
Is that another dexterity then?
Yeah, just give me a dex check.
Ooh. Fuck my entire being right now.
Demonetized.
That would be an 8 plus 3.
Yeah. So yeah, just again, you're just clicking away. You can feel the first tumbler click into place. The second tumbler just as it's about to, and it fails once more. Not being particularly audible, but it's taking you a fair old time. So if you want to commit to this, you can carry on going at it. But it seems to be
Oh, absolutely.
okay. So you're going to continue. So you just continue working away at this, and eventually you're able to get the lock open. But this is a good minute of work, basically, you have to spend.
1 minute. Psh, it's fine.
That's 10 rounds of combat.
Exactly. And eventually you hear the satisfying click of the lock coming open. Yeah, that one you treasure most amongst all others. And you wonder if maybe you should be trying to find a way to get to the knock spell. Which basically instantly opens any lock, but makes a big round.
It's a very, very loud, though.
You should be doing this on your next upgrade.
Yeah. and then you pull open the trunk's lid, and inside you find there are
pornographic images. No, I'm joking.
wow. There are several
Seductive pictures of beats.
several weighty-looking pouches, leather pouches full of gold.
I don't even think. I don't even count. I just into the pocket.
Taking them. Okay. So yeah, it says 6 of those in total. They each hold 100 gold.
No.
That's Lord.
Where this is going.
Hang on, that means Lord Flashheart has been here recently.
Could be.
Because 600 is the last log from him. I'm a clever investigator.
See, I was worried that you're going to walk in and it's going to be like, I wonder what treasures they have. Oh, they just have gold? Well, that's worthless. Where are the gems?
Like, I haven't been able to steal anything since the beginning of this campaign. This is a win for me.
I'll take it.
For a party, but that's just me.
Win for the party, yeah. So yeah, you start taking out the pouch.
You mistake me for someone who gives a shit. No, I'm joking.
So
I will.
So you start pulling out the pouches of gold. You take 1, put it into your bag, no problem. Take 2, no problem. 3, no problem. The 4th pouch of gold that you pull out. Something interesting happens. It's
It no longer fits into your pocket, please.
it's just too much of it. No, it's there's a voice starts emitting from the pouch of gold that you just put into your pocket.
Okay.
I have been removed, and it's Dwight Schrute's voice. I have been removed without permission.
No! Me, back in.
So you take it out, strip it straight back in. There is an intruder inside our property. Bring out the weapons immediately.
Hang on, put it back and it continues, right?
Yeah, and it repeats it back to the start of the message.
Okay, well, if I put it back and it continues, I carry on. and then I see what else is left in there real quick, and then I make a run for it out the window.
Okay, because yeah, you can hear Gertrude's footsteps. She's thundering up the steps.
No!
I'll tell if I wait. But yeah, you start pocketing the rest of the gold. What else is inside there? You can see there's another weighty tome, similar to the logbook that you'd seen on the desk.
Ooh, grab it.
Okay.
If Gertrude comes in, fine. I'm gonna first of all, 1, I'm still invisible. 2, if she has a problem, hold person.
That's actually a quick question I wanted to check. When you say pick up a gold pouch while invisible, does it turn invisible as you touch it?
Yeah. So it's whatever you're holding or carrying or wearing. So yeah, as soon as you pick up the pouch, it turns invisible. But the sound is still emitting from you. So you might be invisible, but there's still this voice, Dwight Schrute's voice, just emitting from you. So
how long does that happen? Just as an outside of character moment, like with these kind of like voice activated, I'm being stolen shit. How long does that last?
Would Ravenous know that?
No, I'm asking you about character.
Oh, just generally in life.
Yeah. Like, is it going to be a case of like me being like, oh, hey, I have this gold, and then as I pay for things, it goes, oh,
so it seems to be. It's hard to tell if it's on the gold or the bag itself. It could be on one particular coin in the whole bag. Who knows? But from what I'm reading of the spell, this could last at least a few minutes.
Oh, that's fine then. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I was hoping for a few days.
Just keep
even if it was a few days, I'd still hold that on me the whole time.
Yeah.
I'd give it to Baruch.
No.
So you're grabbing the coin. You've got all of that in your pouch. You've taken the logbook that's inside the trunk as well. What else is in there? You can see there's a few beets actually, and a few turnips that seem to be grown in. Sorry.
I said, leave those boring.
Yeah,
Carry
well, I
on.
mean, you know, they're interesting looking. They seem to almost have like human-like faces to them, like ones that are grown. You know, those ones that people keep when they look like a particularly interesting turnip that's grown in an unusual way.
Wait, do they look like a face like the pumpkin that wasn't quite formed yet?
Oh no.
Nothing like that.
Oh, thank God.
Then don't touch them.
Okay. So they're just interesting turnips that you can.
I don't want. Do you know what? Actually, no. Hang on. 1 second. Retract what I just said. Take one bite out of the side of the turnip and then put it back in.
No. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, you know, your tiefling canines sink in, and you rip out a chunk. Is it the face side or just the side?
Oh yeah, just like the eye to the side of the mouth.
Okay. All right. You just deface one of the turnips that
Just for fun.
held so in such high value, and then just pull it back. What else is
I was
inside?
hungry.
What else is inside the trunk? There's what looks like a blanket with a patchwork pattern on it. From the few ones that you're able to see. Actually, give me an investigation check, and I'll go to Lou while you do that.
So I got a 9.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, you sort of blanket. It's got this like patchwork pattern on it. Briefly glancing over it, seems like there's just various colours and a few stick people on it. That's about it. You can see there's a couple of other books. They don't look like the weighty tomes of the logbook. They look like more just standard like novels.
Okay. Anything else of actual interest to Ravenous?
No, like jewels or anything like that. There is a sickle.
Nope.
Yeah, nothing else that would hold interest to Ravenous at least. Let me just cue up the next music.
Okay.
We shall have...
Close the lid because nothing else was interesting, and then.
So Gertrude is still coming to you, right?
Mm-hmm. So Gertrude's still thundering up the steps. In that time...
Oh, she's up the steps. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she was thundering up the steps. As you close the lid, she's basically coming around into the room. And you can see there's a pretty nasty looking cleaver in her hand. And she's like looking frantically around the room. What do you do?
I crouch under the bed beside the chest to make her think it's a glitch.
Glitch? What do you mean by glitch?
Like,
oh,
you know,
in the spell.
Yeah, like she's like, hang on, nothing the fuck's happening, and it's coming from the chest. What the hell? That's my first attempt. So I'm under the bed. I barrel roll under the bed.
Give me a stealth check for barrel rolling under the bed.
It happened before she came in. Anyway. Okay.
I mean, you still make noise as you do it. Still barrel rolling. Do a barrel roll.
That'll be a nat 20.
Wow. Okay,
6 proficiency.
Immaculate silence. You just perfectly roll under the bed. You don't even disturb the dust somehow. And
because I'm
actually, there is no dust. It's the Scrhute household.
Obviously, there's none.
And so, yeah, from so far as you can tell, when she comes into the room, there's the voice is just emitting from under the bed, and she's like looking around. Let's just have a.
The idea was to be like as close to the chest as possible, so it sounds like it's coming from the chest.
And she immediately makes her way over to the chest. I presume you closed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So she pulls out a key, unlocks it, wrenches it open. She looks in and sees all the bags of gold are missing.
Yeah, that's a slight problem.
Yeah. Hold person.
You have to be able to see it, but yeah, you can pop back out. But yeah, you wouldn't know that she's realised that all the bags of gold are missing.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I'll
away.
see what happens first.
And she just stares for a moment, slams it shut, looks around the room, sees the window still shut. Where are you?
Did she leave the door open?
Yeah.
Stealth check. Wait, I'm emitting noise. What am I talking about?
Very much so.
Yeah, exactly. It's just moving alarm.
Okay.
Would you leave a pile of gold just because it's emitting a noise?
Yeah. Is there a part? Is the one of the gold specifically emitting the noise? Like, is one of the?
It's one of the pouches. You
one
picked it up. Yeah.
One of the pouches is emitting the sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
I leave that pouch that is emitting sound, and then make my way out of the open door. I crawl quietly out of under the bed, and I make my way out the door that is open, still invisible.
Give me a stealth check.
Oh, please give me a 20 again. Oh shit, my life. 11.
11.
But can I just point out, DM, if you're being really nice, if there's a big noise being made by this thing, the less than great stealth check I did wouldn't necessarily be heard because of all the sound coming from the bag.
Mhm.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
But what about the immediately out of nowhere appearing bag of gold?
Oh, it's
Oh,
under
that's
the bed.
under the bed.
Yeah, it's under the bed, so that's alright. But they got a nat 17 on their perception check, which is pretty good. So, yeah, you start you take the bag, the offending pouch of gold that seems to be speaking this warning in Schrute's voice out and lay it up on the ground and start crawling on all fours out from under the bed, out towards the door. As you're moving, though, while you're invisible, you're still physically in the realm, and so you do disturb the bed sheets as you come out from under the bed, and she just catches sight of them moving. She goes, "Got you," and launches herself forward with cleaver in hand. So this will be, let's just see, and brings it. Oh, hang on, sorry, is that a disadvantage? Yeah, it brings it.
Can I just say I'm sorry to everyone, and I know that if Vlad was here, he'd have been going this whole time. So
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
We've been trying our best to fill in that gap.
you know,
we've been trying our best. I can sigh more for you if you prefer.
no, I already feel bad.
and if you wanted to keep attention away from the barn,
That
there's
is
one way
true.
to do
Very
it.
good job distracting them from the barn.
Yeah.
And literally doing you
A
guys
bit too good of a job.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, she leaps forwards over the bed with surprising agility. She leaps onto the cabinet and launches herself forward with that cleaver in hand, brings it swinging overhand over towards your neck as if to cleave your head straight from your body. And just at the last moment, you can hear the strain of wood from her launching herself into the air, and you just roll out the side at the last moment. It just smacks into the floorboards just where your neck had been a moment before. No damage.
Considering that she has found out that I exist, I use my tail to grab the pouch of gold that I had originally left.
Well, before you do that, I'm afraid you're all going to need to roll for initiative.
I'm so
All?
Oh?
Go ahead, no, taking part in this.
Yeah, we'll just see how this plays out. So meanwhile, outside, and let me just cue up the right music for the situation.
Oh, great. Just to continue my great rolling, did you just get a 16?
Yes.
Minus or
What?
is that just blank out 16?
I rolled another 16.
Damn.
That was my
Is
fifth
the
16.
16th episode by any chance?
Ridiculous. It's all been dex-based checks, and it's all been really high rolls for Nante.
I have a -2 in dex.
Nothing.
Okay, so meanwhile outside, the minute that Dwight's voice started erupting from the pouch of gold, and, you know, it's him shouting. It's not quiet at all. His face, his head just snaps around to look at look up in that direction. He goes, and he just looks back to Burke, frowning. What do you do, Burke?
Just
Like,
turn a surprised look. Yeah, it's like I don't know anything about this type of look.
And
I would.
Yeah, so he just eyes you for a moment, like, you know, you're just like, I don't know anything. Just trying to, well, you don't know anything. You're true in that.
He actually doesn't. We have no idea that she's trying to steal from them.
Yeah, and he just lays a hand upon his long sword, draws it, and then charges into the home. You will be slain, intruder! And just starts charging forwards. Yeah.
I would just quickly look at Hala. Well, she's got one thing right. Wait, where's Ravenous?
Ravenous!
Meanwhile, in the barn, you can just distantly make out the Dwight alarm, but you definitely heard the "you will be slain" intruder. You, Nanto, are actually the first to react to this going down. Yeah, so you just retrieved the poker in hand as this all started going off. Oh no, you just jumped into the manure pile and have found the secret entrance.
Indeed. So I have heard the foul intruder call from the house.
You will be slain, foul intruder.
If you could get a fucking gif of him doing that, that would be fantastic. But okay.
Well,
Dwight Schrute.
I now have urgency in mind. So having heard that something was happening, and hearing that Lyroon suggested that we get this person out, I don't have a lot of time anymore. So I was planning on using prestidigitation to clean an object in a 1 cubic foot area. But I feel like that would take some time to uncover this trapdoor. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 1 foot cube at a time. It's probably about a 4 foot square radius, so it will take 4 actions.
Yeah, so would I be able to speed that up by casting Cloud of Daggers instead? To try and shovel as much as I can out of the way?
I'll allow it. It's horrible though. Yeah,
So shitstorm about that.
So
you're creating
Nanto
a fan
is-
for the ship to hit.
Nanto is going to back up, having heard this battle cry, look at Lyron and just, oh, well, that's a timer if I've ever heard one. Let's hurry this up. And he's
Sounds
going to
like
spin
Rabbit.
his finger and conjure essentially a cloud of blades to act as a weed whacker for the manure.
It's so
And-
horrible.
Just
I love
spraying it out of the way.
I love it. I love this. I love
Do-
this.
As a note,
I'm
that
just
makes me
thinking
end
that's
my
the thirdest the barn has ever been up to this.
I have ended concentration on fairy fire, and so just spattering that out of the way as little what would they be in here?
Yeah, that's what I was
they're,
gonna ask.
leaves. Normally they're leaves and things, but can I
How
make
many-
it like?
Size?
Oh, oh my god! Could I cut? Oh no! That'd be too big. Could I just get
Nothing is too big.
Could I just use the
manure.
the hay to kind of magically strengthen them to brush all of the manure out of the way?
Yeah, I think that works.
That sounds like
So-
a really cool idea. Like
So
a
you
giant
just
broom.
conjured a lot of brushes from hay.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
just
turned
made
the hay into
a
a
massive
giant
broom.
car wash brush.
Ha
Yeah.
ha!
So there's this column of hay raises up out of the pile that you've been sleeping on, well, pretending to sleep on a moment before, in the shape of a car wash brush, and it starts rotating around and it starts wafting its way over towards the manure and buffeting at it. And instantly, the whole entire of the column turns brown, and the manure just starts spraying outward in its path and splattering across the barn, across you. It was pretty noisy, but obviously Shrute's got other considerations on right now, and it's just spraying it away in all directions, and it's proving pretty effective as a way of paving the way clear to the trapdoor. And you can already see within just a couple of seconds, you can see the trapdoor starting to be revealed.
Yes.
Anything else you want to do?
Would you
with
like
that,
to call out to anyone?
No, I'm just going to look at Lyroon. As soon as the job is complete, So I can drop concentration. Does that have to be on my turn?
Nope. No, you can do it whenever.
Cool. As soon as the manure is like removed, I would like to drop the concentration so Lyroon can get down there quicker.
Cool. Gotcha.
Because I know Lyroon is much faster than Nanto.
So, yeah, ironically, given his initiative.
Sedation needed.
Yep.
So,
I suppose as a bonus action, just in case there's anything down there, I will give him an inspiration.
Oh, you're so
Oh.
nice.
And just kind of like nonchalantly spraying the manure and just turning around just oh so calmly and just, I believe in you. If we don't have much time, make it snappy.
okay.
And that is inspiration. I'll write that down.
Okay. Make it snappy. So I'm just logging in the initiatives. So we got Gertrude.
I got like nothing, but okay.
No, you guys did all right though. So that was Nanto.
Oh, I think I got like 10.
We'll go with Theatre of the Mind for this one because I genuinely did not anticipate combat happening.
I mean, sure.
I'm really
Definitely won't. This is a great distraction because there is apparently a prisoner down in this cellar.
Exactly. All I was doing was justice for the prisoner, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing else. No personal gains. None of that.
She's definitely not going to blow all that gold and gems at a later date.
I'm sorry. Did I not say that I was going to share because I'm a good person? For my friends?
Are you chaotic good? Okay.
I am chaotic neutral. No,
yeah,
I'm
there we
chaotic-
go.
Sorry, hang on. I'm chaotic evil.
Oh, are you?
Oh no.
That
Are you-
is troublesome.
I guess actually no, I must be chaotic neutral.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could be chaotic evil, but that means you have malicious intent.
I don't have malicious intent. Okay, I am neutral.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all about me. It's
Yeah.
all about me, guys. Okay.
You're just
It's all about
selfish. You're
me.
not actually mean.
But you say that, but how many sessions have we been without me stealing? Many.
Not
So
like
Because we stopped
Selfish?
you.
selfish? Nah.
Well, you finally got the steal, and it
did.
totally worked out. So, Burke.
I could hear the sarcasm dripping.
I mean,
You guys,
it could have worked out, to be fair.
let me be
Okay.
me.
Okay, let's continue with the initiative order and see just how badly this goes.
So, Burke, you've seen Scrhute run in, sword in hand. Oh, sorry, I forgot Hala's initiative. This is going to be...
Aww. Now you've made me sad because I remembered that Hal's not here again.
Yeah.
They
And like...
grace
graced us with their presence, ever so slightly.
Oh,
They will not.
oh,
be forgotten.
shoot. Like, Hala actually got by far the best. So just
Apparently
before
Hala-
Nanto did that, I mean, it's kind of funny because they're in separate almost areas. Hala just took one look to Buruk after seeing Scrhute charge in with sword in hand, and Buruk announced, what did you say? Sorry, what was it, Buruk?
That'd be ravenous.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
just
it
like,
got me right in there.
oh,
Damn.
yeah, she had some pretty sticky fingers. All right, and she just charges in straight after Scrhute. She makes no move to attack him just yet. She's more just following him inside the house as he charges up the stairs. More just trying to make sure that her friend doesn't get hurt. Right, Buruk, you're up.
Right, so frankly, I would be doing much the same. So, how far away from me is Mr. Dwight?
So he's dashed, so it's effectively 60 feet of movement, so you can dash after him.
Yeah, I think I'll be drawing my weapon. No, I'm thinking what's the right weapon for the occasion.
Yeah, so in terms of sorry, I know Fear to the Mind can be difficult. So effectively, he's charged in through a doorway, then he's hooked right, and he's gone up a flight of stairs that then curves around and up another flight. So he's moving to the top floor of this building. It's 2 stories.
Yep.
And yeah, he's got a long sword in hand. And he's charging after. You know, he's doing that classic like "I will murder you." Yeah, he just seems to be very excited, actually.
So I will be
Oh.
drawing a pretty small short sword, just easier while running, while also trying to grasp at the dagger in my belt. and just launch after him as fast as I can.
Remind me, is that the +1? Is your short sword a +1?
Nope,
Or is that a
it's
long sword?
just a plain sword.
Okay. Because short sword and dagger, taking them out in hand, and you're chasing after him, and like he's looking over his shoulder, like visibly confused, like, why is this hobgoblin chasing after me? He's not quite spinning around and striking at you just yet.
Oh, I mean, I'm genuinely trying to find who's the intruder.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you.
Nobody else knows.
Yeah. So
Totally.
So it's you're trying to pass off as if you're So you are in fact just chasing after an intruder, but you probably got a good idea of what. In fact, give me a deception check. It's gonna be low DC, but it's just for you to pass off that you're not actually just trying to make sure you.
I think you're not just looking for me because you fucking know.
So we'll see how that plays out later on. Okay, so next up is Ravenous. So you've got a woman with a cleaver who just tried to chop your head off. You can hear Scrhute charging his way up the stairs, longsword in hands, promising death. What do? You are still invisible. Not to influence you, but that just means you get advantage.
No, I know I am invisible.
How did we get into this?
How long do you think it would take for Dwight to make his way upstairs?
He'll be in the room within the next round, you reckon?
Were I to throw the thing making noise into the corner away from me...
You left it under the bed.
No, because I said...
Oh, you're going to grab you with your tail. Your tail doesn't actually have any kind of picking up stuff, but I mean, you could use your hand to grab it. That's absolutely fine.
She's missed me, so basically my idea here is throw this sound away from me, let it materialize, cause a distraction, and wait for Scrhute also to enter the room.
You can certainly try. So the minute that you let go of an item, it will become visible. So it will just look like a pouch, a leather pouch slinging across the room outward from where you're standing.
It's just a distraction.
And then you'll be able to...
It's not going out the room. It's going into a corner away from where I am, completely opposite side from me, diagonally away.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. So you can throw the gold. I don't think that requires any kind of roll. You just sling the gold over to a corner of the room, and this from Gertrude's perspective, this leather pouch just materializes out of thin air, just hurtling away from where you're standing, and just smacks into the wall and just flops to the ground. And it's still got
enough to draw away her reactions.
Sorry?
Is it enough to draw away her?
I mean, she's looking at it confused, but she also knows where it came from, so she knows where you are. But the thing with attacks of opportunities, in meta terms, they require you to be able to see who you're attacking.
It's also fuck you, bitch.
So you can just walk away. That's fine.
Nate, I'm gonna turn your light on. You look a little bit like a face with a beard and no hair.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am exactly that.
He had a haircut.
Yeah. Also, good call. I will need to be back in about a minute.
Oh.
That is fine, because I believe the DM may potentially need a refill on his drink. Am I correct with this assumption, or am I very off? How far off? Not very far off. I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
Your serving wench will come and get you, don't worry.
You're what?
Serving wench.
No, this is the main reason when we go on our holiday to Texas that we'll be wanting to visit medieval times.
Oh my god, I can't wait!
Oh my
Because I'm
goodness.
pregnant.
Oh yeah, hopefully by that time she'll be pregnant. Yeah, so she won't be able to drink. But yeah, I can't wait for our holiday to Texas. Actually, if nothing else, for the barbecue meats of deliciousness.
Wait, you're going to Texas?
That's when we can safely book it. In the current circumstances. But yeah, the intention is we'll go to Texas and go on like a barbecue meat road trip.
Okay, as a pure-blooded American, I gotta recommend... I can't do that. I would recommend Rudy's Barbecue, if that wasn't already on your menu.
So, hang on, let me get up my Excel spreadsheet. Because, I don't know if you know, Satine used to live in Texas. So she actually recommended a whole bunch of places. Red, was it?
Rudy's Barbecue.
Rudy's Barbecue. That is not on my list. Whereabouts is it?
Oh, they have chains over a couple of places.
Okay.
Most notably, they're in like Texas, New Mexico, that kind of area.
Thank you.
Are you going? Yeah, you could probably. They should have a website where you can locate their restaurants and see if it's near where you're vacationing.
So we're planning. Well, I'm planning Fort Worth and Austin. If that means anything.
You can probably find. I mean, I would if it's not at Dallas Fort Worth, then I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
But now Rudy's excellent barbecue, and I'm just gonna. The secret is the sides. The sides and the brisket are like the stars of the show.
So
I've heard brisket is like an amazing cut because it's just.
You've had brisket.
I have had brisket, but you know what? I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
Who did I marry?
Who did I marry?
A common serving wench.
But there are a couple in Austin actually, so that would work for the road trip. Yeah, I don't know if you know, Sammy. I've actually started looking up the restaurants that we're going to visit.
Oh my goodness! Look at you being all great and stuff.
Well, I did that for the honeymoon as well.
What do you mean? We did that together. I spent several hours doing research and plotting points on a map.
But the restaurants.
And for me, that was a big thing.
The restaurants
yeah,
were all me.
The restaurants, never mind. Okay. So.
See, the restaurants are the key to success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hotels.
That's the only thing.
So, Austin and Fort Worth. Yeah, So we've got a bunch of places that I'm planning to visit. But yeah, good to know. Ruby's Barbecue is on the list. There are 2 in Austin, so I'll just add that to my list.
Yep. That's Rudy's is one of my favorite ever.
You say Rudy?
Yeah.
With a D for
R-U-D-Y.
Delta, or... Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's, to me the most important factor is barbecue sauce, bizarrely.
Yeah.
Got great sauce.
I feel like you can cook meat properly no matter where you are, but if you don't have a good barbecue sauce, then what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, I mean there's the smoking and there's the
No, barbecue sauce.
There's a term, the bark. It's the blackened outer casing of deliciousness around the meat. It's a big thing, but if you got shite barbecue sauce, you just underwrite.
You
all
undermine
that.
everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Anyway, sorry. Massive distraction.
Huge tangent.
My light switch is pretty far away.
Oh, I was like, wow, that took you a real long time to turn that light on.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think actually, Natured, you've been on one of the team trips to a delicious meat restaurant. Have you?
No, I unfortunately skipped that one.
Oh,
But I did hear tales of it.
yeah.
Clearly missed out. Just saying.
Delicious meats.
Not that I know, because I don't get invited to Cantor things, because apparently spouses
Stop announcing
don't exist.
specific details about where I work and do. Right. So Ravenous, that was your turn. You sling the bag of gold over towards the corner. That's effectively... Actually, is it your free action to throw a bag of gold? I'm going to allow it. So your action you can use to hide.
No, my action I'm going to use...
If you move...
No. Would a cantrip make me non-invisible?
Depends on the cantrip.
The one... Hang on. Minor image? Is it minor image? Am I just
Let
making...
me check the rules for invisibility, because...
I'm pretty sure unless it's greater invisibility, like anything you do, if you touch an object effectively, it's like, oh, you're here again.
Yeah, if you attack or cast a spell, so yeah, cantrip would make you visible. But
Okay.
and if you move, then obviously you make sound, unless you try and do a stealth check.
Okay, well, I want to get out of prone effectively, so having made a distraction noise of making the thing throw against the wall and make a noise to take her attention away, I will attempt to get up and get out of prone.
Okay, so that's half your movement is to stand up effectively. So you've still got 15 feet of movement, you still got your action, which you can use to dash or hide or attack or whatever.
There's not really anywhere to hide, so I'm going to dash to the opposite corner.
Hide as in not make any sound as you walk.
Then I will do that then. Now that you're being very particular about it.
Well, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying if you want to.
No, I mean, if I'm going to make a distraction, I'm not going to just be like, clonk, clonk, clonk.
Well, exactly.
Like,
That's what I figured.
Okay, so I'm going to get up, and I'm going to make my way to the corner. I'm basically going to make my way to beside the door, but far enough away that I won't breathe on Scrhute when he walks in.
Okay. No. Yeah, you've got your
This
slippers. So let's.
Oh, so in which case I'm on the fucking ceiling.
There you go.
That's
So you got 15 feet of movement effectively because you used half to stand up. But yeah, you can get up. You can get up the wall a bit. Give me a stealth
I need
check.
to use stealth. Okay.
What was it? Sorry.
No, I was saying so I need to use stealth then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 16 stealth. So we'll see what happens with that.
That's
yeah,
above average,
it is.
sir.
Yeah. It all depends on their perceptions and passive perceptions. But so you make your way up from well, basically you're on the ground. You pull out the pouch of gold that seems to be screaming Dwight's voice, and sling it across the room over to the opposite corner, and then calmly get to your feet and start striding over to the wall and walking up the side of it in relative quiet. 16 stealth is pretty good. To try and get out of harm's way.
By arms, do you mean harms?
I said harm's way.
You said arms.
I meant harm.
Okay, never mind, ignore me.
Schrute's turn. So Schrute continues thundering his way up the steps, hooks around the corner into the room, looking around for any sudden intruder, looks to Gertrude like, where are they? What are they doing? Who took my gold? And she just looks up to him. I had her. She's right here. And points to where.
Hang on. How would they know what I was?
Well, had them. Sorry, you are absolutely correct. Had them. They're right here. And points towards where you had been stood just a moment before, and she had missed with her cleaver. And he leaps forward. Have at you! And just swings wide with his long sword to cleave through where your head would have been just moments, just seconds before.
God, I moved.
And the sword whistles through the air. Nothing. And he looks around.
Thinking, Gertrude, you bitch, you lied
And
to
his
me.
eyes narrowing. She isn't there. And he just moves. He takes another step forward. Fine, they aren't there.
They don't know what I am.
Yeah, I
They don't
know,
who
but
I
for
am.
simplicity of DMing.
I'm just being really politically correct. Okay.
I know. And then takes a step forward into the space of where you would have been stood. And confirms you're not stood there because he would have collided into you. They must be in here somewhere. Come out, you cowards! I will slay you where you stand. And starts pointing his longsword at random points in the room and just readies himself. You can see there's a certain tension in his limbs. He's got the longsword held in both hands now, ready to cleave apart anyone who comes into visible range who seems to be a threat. Lyroon. So Lyroon can hear all of this mayhem erupting over in a house nearby. You can see Nanto's just car washing away the manure. And just like, you seem to have this in hand. I better go and help. And just takes off running with that monkish speed, quickly making his way up the steps, but not quite getting into the field of danger just yet. Gertrude in the room, similarly to Dwight, she's not able to discern where Ravenous has gone. She can see the gold has been slung over into the corner, but she saw it fling out from your direction. They must be using magics. They're in here. They're invisible. I'll close the door. And moves over to the door and just closes it. Before Burke's able to get in, sealing you in. And then and then she moves over to the window and readies herself.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm fine.
And you can see again there's that tension to her body. She seems to be ready to act as soon as she sees some kind of threat. She's got the cleaver in hand, and there's a slight shake to her hand. She seems to be filled with fury. Hala.
Okay, I thought it was just fear.
No, there's no. This is the Scrhute family. Hala finishes making her way up the stairs, thunders over toward the door and just reaches it. She doesn't burst her way in yet, but she's stood beside it looking confused and annoyed. Nanto, you've car washed away
All the poop.
All of it.
all of it.
All of it. Right onto the walls.
Or enough to get through the trap door. I will break my concentration. Well, it is my turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. I break concentration on the cloud of daggers. As all the hay just kind of like fluffs to the ground again. And then I'm going to open it up and head down.
Nice. An agreeable action.
Okay, so yeah, the car wash finishes its work, and yeah, the trapdoor is revealed, and as soon as you see it, drop concentration. Oh, sorry, yeah, you were going to drop concentration ready for Lyrene to drop down. I remember now. Sorry, yeah, it's Lyrene just pointing this out to me.
Yep.
So yeah, you on Lyrene's turn. Sorry. Yeah, they just start making their way over. The trapdoor's revealed. He wrenches open the trapdoor and leaps down as you drop concentration, ready for you to leap down as well. There's as soon as you open the trapdoor, you can see there's a ladder leading down into a stone basement. It's dark within. He starts climbing down the ladder with you closely behind him. And inside he finds there is a older male-looking gnome, no hair on top, a thick greyish white beard, but you can see he's looking dirty. He's wearing like almost like a what I can only describe as a potato sack or a turnip sack. Emblazoned in fact with the Scrhute logo. Hang on, music stopped.
Oh. Wait, so the potato sack has the Scrhute like branding on it.
It does.
Oh, what more evidence do we need? Oh,
I mean, we
shoot.
know because we need evidence it's Lord Flashheart, not that it's Dwight Schrute.
I mean, if you needed an evidence of a jailed gnome, bringing the jailed gnome does seem to do the trick.
Right, but like, I mean, I'm just saying, we bring them with this potato sack, this labeled sack. Then they can't even try to weasel it out like, oh, they were just drunk. Oh, they weren't being kidnapped and tortured.
It's all a conspiracy, you see.
Yeah, Lyrene, as soon as you drop the spell, is trooping his way down the ladder. You follow him close behind, and inside you find this elderly gnome in a turnip sack that's branded with the Scrhute Farm's logo. And you can see, looking at him closely, there are a few scars from. There's no missing fingers, thankfully.
Oh, thank goodness.
But it looks like that poker might have been used once or twice. And yeah, he's unconscious. He's like hanging limply in the manacles. Immediately, Lyrene charges over to his side. I don't think Lyrene. Hang on, let me just check their sheet. Yeah, they don't have any kind of thieves' tools or anything. So he's just pulling out the chains and seeing that he's locked in place and looking frantically around the room. Let me just give them a perception check.
I perceive that you are a terrible human and must be taken down.
So they have +6 to their perception, but rolled a nat 4, so it's 10 in total. Looking frantically around the room, they can't see any sign of it, any obvious way to get them out. We need to get them out of here before the Schrutes come closer. So Nanto, yeah, you've dropped concentration. You're climbing down. You're inside this basement room. You've got enough movement to get over to the prison side. What do you do?
Alrighty. Well, I have absolutely no way of breaking these cuffs.
A good old fireball would do that trick.
Yes, I fireball the prisoner. Hey, but the cuffs are gone too.
Oh, they definitely would be.
It's like, how do we get them out of the cuffs? Well, if I turn the prisoner to ash, they would slip out of the cuffs.
I mean, if you just remove their hands.
Just remove their hands. That's the easy option here, guys.
Please and thank you. No.
So,
but I'm not here.
No, you're far away.
Oh.
I'm the reason this is a problem.
I mean, you're the reason it's a sense of urgency, that's it.
I suppose. Oh shoot! So Lyvrun has dark vision, right? Because they're an elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're fine. I'm not.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you drop down, and you know where they are, because you saw that with the fairy fire.
Right. I mean, I guess for me, I would want to light up a torch and look for a key.
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
I like your thinking.
Yes, you can use your action. You light up a torch and you're just looking around in the room. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
This is
20. I rolled a 16 though.
Oof.
Wow.
Ah, yes, another 16.
So
Number 16 is everywhere today.
I think what's known as a dirty 20.
A dirty 20.
Does that mean it's a 20 that wasn't earned by being
Not
20?
natural.
Yeah, a non-natural 20.
It's not natural.
So, yeah, you light a torch, you're looking around, you can see a distinctive glint of metal, not from any of the vicious, wicked-looking tools arrayed across that table along the side of the room, but on the wall opposite, actually, where the gnome would have been sat, almost tantalising in sight but out of reach.
Oh,
There
that's
is
cruel.
a key hanging on a hook.
That's advanced torture.
Seeing your escape but not being able to get it.
Yeah, in fact,
Oh.
with 20 perception, you would make out, your robotic ears make out a distinctive sound as well. And actually, you can see on the ceiling there is a
Ooh.
like a vessel, container
sound
with a
of that.
small hole at the bottom. And
Still
as
don't
you're
like the
looking,
colour.
you can see a singular drip drop down onto their forehead of the prison.
Oh.
So,
Oh, waterboarding, you son of a bitch,
No.
Scrhute.
Water torture.
No, drip torture.
Yeah. waterboarding is quite a
Waterboarding.
bit worse.
Waterboarding is much worse.
Much worse.
Oh.
This
Okay,
is drip
sure.
torture.
I have no fucking idea what that is, obviously.
Well,
Compared to waterboarding.
drip torture. It's just it's a drip that lands on your forehead about once every minute, and it's really annoying.
So fucking waterboarding, effectively.
No, it's very different.
Oh, no,
But
you're
please
right,
stop.
you're right,
Please
it's
stop
very
dropping
different.
all the f bombs. Right. So
I didn't say the F-bomb.
8 times. So Nanto, you've seen this. You've you've got about half your movement left,
Mm-hmm.
so you can move over to the key.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pop that torch. Go over to the key.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'd have the action economy to pass it over to Lyroon.
I'll allow free action throwing it their way. Let me just see if they catch it, but should be fine.
And the gnome stays unconscious even though we've been talking and moving and rummaging.
No reaction whatsoever.
Oh boy.
Poor guy.
They're just slumped in the chains. You grab the key off the wall, sling it over to Lyroon, catches it out of the air with perfect precision, and immediately sets to work to try and unlock the chains holding him in place. This time I heard the sirens. So
Sirens!
Somebody's going down.
that brings us to the end of Nanto's turn. So Burke.
Right, so as I understand, I almost had caught up to Scrhute, but he dashed upwards up the stairs, and as soon as Gertrude called out, he slammed the door shut, basically right in front of me.
Yeah, it was less a dash. It was about 30 foot of movement to get inside the room. But yeah, he got inside, doors closed, he's readied himself, but you can't see that. You're on the staircase, within movement range, but the door's closed.
And so, first things first, I think Burke would just walk up to the door, try it, and realize it's closed shut.
Yeah, it's not locked.
Yeah, but that puts us in an interesting situation. Now,
Does he?
we are in middle of Schroote's house, with not being watched over. Is Will anywhere around?
How rude of a guest is Baruch?
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
what he's going for.
yeah, you've made
Yeah.
your way to
Yeah,
the
but-
top floor.
Betray the trust of a shrew.
So, is there anything interesting in the top floor aside from the one closed door?
So there's another room. As you make your way around the stairs up to the very top floor, and you can see there's a closed door of this master bedroom that they're in. There's another door further down the corridor that you can go look through.
I would quite a bit calmer go run to that. basically jog to that one and peek inside.
So it's a light jog, and you know it's the sound of like rattling cutlery with every step because of all the weapons. And you poke this hulking hobgoblin pokes his head around the door to look inside. What you find is, it looks like a secondary bedroom. It looks like more like a child's, like a nursery. You can see there's a cot in one corner. The wallpaper. Well, there isn't wallpaper as such, actually. It's just like bare walls that have been painted. It looks like it's been painted with various faces that look a bit like Scrute's face, but like almost like familial relations, and they all bear that same like frowning grimace style expression, just like wall to wall around the room. Various baby accoutrements around the room. But
sorry, do you want to say that again?
Accoutrement.
I've never heard that in my life.
First time I hear it.
That's definitely a word.
Yeah.
It probably is. I just don't know it.
It's additional items of dress or equipment.
Okay.
It's probably not pronounced that way. Accoutrements. You look around the room.
I liked it.
Other baby-related shit, creepy Dwight faces everywhere, but no signs of anything particularly interesting. No will, certainly.
Yeah, I think that's the only part that really, really registers with Burke. And with that, he would be just first off quickly glancing at how, like, what now? Before just running down the stairs. See if there's anything else there.
Okay, so you're going to make your way back downstairs?
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Right, so you start finding your way back downstairs, but that's pretty much it.
You seem to be muted.
Oh. Me?
Huh?
No?
Oh.
Did I? Yep.
You muted me!
He's quite muted.
What color is muted?
Lovely NG.
Yep.
Anyway, that's the end of Burke's turn.
Hang
Ravenous.
on. 2 seconds.
Your mouth is
No,
moving, but
no.
nothing's coming out.
Me?
Save him, Ravenous!
I don't know how I managed that.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
No, it's just like so. You want to run down and yep. Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right then.
You start running down the steps, but obviously that's pretty much the end of your turn. Just looking around, you can't see any sign of Will. The downstairs of the Scrhute household, you can from this central room that you can see, it's kind of like a lounge / dining area. Most of it's taken up with an absurdly long dining table, actually, for just 2 people. They'll be sitting about 10 feet apart if they're sat at each end, and there's only chairs at each end. There's no other chairs at this table. There's a fireplace. It looks like it's immaculately clean, much like the rest of the house that you've seen. There is, over the fireplace, there is a painting of Scrhute, and it's much the same as this image that you can see up in the PowerPoint. Which is him with long sword in hand, hand on hip, looking sternly ready for combat.
Wait, sorry, you literally just said, but I missed one detail I was interested in. Were there only 2 chairs?
Only 2 chairs at the dining table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I managed to mute myself. There must be some shortcut I managed to hit, or I don't know. That was bizarre. Anyway.
That was impressive.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I want for the moment, and other than that, everything that fits in this turn.
Okay, so that is the end of Burke's turn. Next up is Ravenous.
Yeah.
So you're in the room.
Mm-hmm.
They close the door.
Okay.
Scrute's by the door. Gertrude is by the window. They each have weapon in hand, seemingly tensioned, ready for something. You're invisible in the room with them. What do you do?
Use hold person, which at level 5 holds 2 persons.
I don't know if it's level 5, but certainly you can cast it to hold
No,
2
so
people.
As
level
in,
5
when I
warlock
become
level
level 5.
spell.
Yeah. You are a level 5 warlock, but which means you cast it at level 3. Which means you can target 2 people with it. That's absolutely works. So I need 2 wisdom saves.
No.
Not from you,
That
from them.
requires-
Not
Okay,
from you.
good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that requires me to do something terrible, which is roll, and roll equals a 1 or a terrible thing.
What's your DC?
My DC. Sorry, what is DC?
It's your spell DC 16 for you. I figured it out. Don't worry.
Okay.
What's your whole person look like again? Oh, you're
Whole
invisible actually,
person.
so it's moot. But yeah.
It doesn't matter. Well, no. My whole person comes up as like a mist below the person. It's sort of 2 smoke bombs that trail, and they kind of swirl around the person, and then sort of sink in once they hold.
So
Also, just a quick note: it does have variable components, so you would be dropping your invisibility anyways to cast this, wouldn't you?
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to drop invisibility in order to cast. I know that much.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why I waited for the
you lose invisibility to cast in the first anytime you cast a spell. So, but also it's concentration, so it conflicts. But anyway, so twin plumes of purple smoke erupt at the feet of the 2 Schrutes, Mr. and Mrs. Schrute. They start winding upwards around their bodies, coalescing and sort of thickening, turning into almost purple metallic bands that wrap around their flesh and seem to lock them in place before your eyes.
And then Ravenous goes, "That's what you get when you mess with the warrior." No, I'm joking.
Wait for it. It's not done yet. So it's wrapping around Gertrude, and you can see.
Joke.
But Gertrude, you can see locking into place, and the twitching movements gradually settle until she's entirely immobilized by this purple smoke. Dwight Schrute, on the other hand, looks to be freed. So the purple smoke comes around him, and it starts solidifying, turning to metal bands, and then he just frowns. That etched frown in his forehead deepens even further, and then the smoke just shatters. Those metallic bands just shatter around him, disperse. He is
I
free.
dislike this DM. 0 out of 10 for the game.
So Dwight is free. You are revealed. Gertrude is immobilized. You have 30 foot of movement and a bonus action. And that is the end of your turn. So what else do you do?
Okay, so my bonus action, I try and open the door.
Is
that
not
a bonus
action, but a free
action?
action certainly to open the door. But he's standing in front of the door. Sorry.
Oh, in which case, I'll just blast the fucking bitch.
That's not a bonus action.
In which case,
you can. So the
slap him
window.
around with my tail.
So Gertrude's by the window. He is by the door. So you could try to open the window and get out. You can try and get over the door, but he's by the door and you're visible, so that would create complications. Or you can just, dodge.
I'm gonna
No, you
hold
can't
it.
dodge actually.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna hold because there's nothing I'm not gonna just jump out the window because that would include me opening the window and then getting out. So that's too much time for me to get caught. So I will hold my action.
But you can't hold an action. But yeah, you certainly you've immobilized one. He can see you. He's like, "I've got you now!" And he seems to be preparing to launch himself towards you.
Yeah. Good luck, bro.
That is the end of Ravenous's turn. Good luck, bro. And
It's
in
going
fact,
so well.
guess whose turn comes straight after Ravenous?
Schrute.
Yeah, it's Schrute's turn. So he levels his longsword towards her.
Everything I said back, can I do a minor illusion?
No,
That's a bonus
that's not a bonus action.
Okay, fine, never mind.
Levels his longsword towards this diminutive tiefling who's materialized before him, who just immobilized his wife, stolen his goods, left 100 gold that's piping up in his own voice. It's now
Which
in the
I
corner.
will pick up again, by the way, at the end of this.
Well, we'll see. And he levels his longsword towards her. "I've got you now," and launches himself. He just starts taking off in a charge, jumps on top of the bed, and then sort of crouches and leaps forward. The springs in his bed propelling him forward. Longsword in both hands as he brings it in an overhead swing. Just screaming for all he's worth.
Futile.
And then what?
And
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, come on now.
And
And then the dice roll.
And then I'm dead. And then Ravenous died in a horrific accident that she completely created on her own.
What's your AC, by the way, Ravenous?
15.
Okay. So he brings it swinging overhead, just, you can see it in his eyes. They are wide, there is murder in them. And he's kind of been living for this moment where there's an intruder in his household and he is entirely...
I'm glad I could make this amazing experience happened to him.
Yeah, he's entirely vindicated in the absolute murder of someone in his house. So he's swinging the sword overhead like, ah! And he brings it cleaving straight down across your chest. And there's a vicious, deep wound opened up across...
my boobies!
Yeah, it's ragged, open wounds. It just begins viciously bleeding down, dripping. It is grievous. You take...
Hang on. Oh, whoa. When you say grievous... Whoa.
28 damage.
Does a 31 hit your AC?
Well, let me put it this way. He nat 20'd.
Oh my
Of course
God.
he did.
Okay.
Can I use my bonus action to shout for help?
You take 16 points of piercing damage.
No, that's okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's just about half my health.
Yeah, just
It's
under
just a
half
flesh
your
wound.
health by 1 hit point.
Just a flesh wound.
Swings it across.
Just a
Bloody
flesh
wound erupts across your chest, and he's still screaming, like tongue like reverberating in his mouth. And he uses the momentum. He wheels around and then slashes wide with an left to right.
Hang on.
swipe.
Whoa. You never said he had more than one attack. What is this?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Brings it swinging wide, and you just have enough presence of mind to throw yourself back against the wall, and the blade just swings like less than an inch away from your face.
Oh my God, he actually was ready for this.
Yeah, blood flicking across your face, your own blood, in fact, as the blade flies through the air.
And I go, ha! That is unexpected.
And that is the end of Shroot's turn. Lyroon.
Boy, it's going down.
Lyroon had been charging up towards the stairs. So you begun screaming for help, right?
I kind of went like, ah, my boobs!
Wow, okay.
Oh, okay.
If it's a chest wound and I'm a female, my boobs are the ones that get hurt, right?
Good. Alright, so demonetized. So anyway, Lyroon charges over towards...
boobs is not
Oh wait, Lyra was
demonetized.
helping with the prisoner, correct?
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're absolutely right. Lyroon's down, yeah, so Lyroon's down there, he caught the keys that had been thrown by Nanto, and is setting about unlocking...
Way up the stairs at unimaginable speed.
Yeah. And is unlocking the restraints around the gnomish prisoner. Immediately, as soon as he unlocks the locks, he just slumps forward into the ground. He's completely unconscious. There's no support to his weight. Scoops him up in his hands and starts making his way over the ladder. We need to get him out. And then you can just hear both of you out, both Lyroon and Nanto out of your ears. You can hear distantly, you can hear Ravenous screaming for help, and he just looks to Nanto and says,
I don't scream for help, I just kind of go, ah, my boobs!
right, well, you hear that, and Ravenous just, it's like a roll, Lyroon, there's just like a roll to his eyes as he looks to Nanto and says, oh no.
He's like,
they
I
were-
knew this
they
was
were-
gonna
She is a great distraction.
come.
And he starts
Unlike Lyroon's spunk.
He starts trooping his way up the ladder, Ravenous in hand, trying to get out of this
Hang on, Ravenous.
prisoner.
in
sorry,
hand?
the prisoner in hand. Sorry, I'm getting this all muddled.
I was like,
Prisoner in
no.
hand, trying to get out of this grim torture chamber. Right, that is the end of Lyroon's turn. Next up is Gertrude.
I wish Lyroon was here. I'm sad. Sorry.
Gertrude is perfectly immobilized by the window, watching all it. Only her eyes are able to move, but you can still see, even in those immobilized eyes, there is a distinct look of pride as she watches her husband cleave apart the intruder.
She's so proud of her husband doing his duty as a husband and a homeowner to protect his belongings and his land.
Exactly.
And she's a dick, and she needs to die. I'm joking.
Anyway, she nat ones the wisdom to break through the handcuffs. Oh, give me
Right,
a
bitch.
concentration check, actually, Ravenous. I need to see if
Come
you...
on! I
Oh,
did! Oh shit, I did. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
I forgot. So that's a Constitution save.
I mean, I think I'm going
It's
to
only
do
DC
very,
10.
very well.
It's only DC 10.
I can't.
You got this.
I can't find Constitution.
So, what on your character sheet? It's third in
Yeah.
from the top left.
That's initiative.
I don't know where you're looking.
Just walk into the room, Sam.
All right. So if you one down from the very top, there's like a row of 6 various attributes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's oh shit! I'm really fucking dyslexic.
yeah. There you go.
19.
There you go.
Yeah!
So yeah. She's watching this happen. You can see the pride in her eyes, but
And I'm like,
she's not.
idiot.
Well, as you bleed. Yeah. So, yeah, she's not able to respond. She's not able to move in the slightest. Just immobilized like that, but proud and trusting to her husband to take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use manipulation to like have her like bring up a middle finger to her husband? Like,
No, that's not
Damn
how
it.
it works.
I really wanted to be able to be like, no, but I will anyway because I'm being made to do.
No, that's not how it works. Hala. So Hala.
By the way,
What?
would have been great.
The Scrhute family is too proud and powerful for that.
So
Whole
Hala-
person or no, you will not get the better of us.
Hala
They are
kicks
the
in.
heroes, by the way.
Hala kicks in the door. Sees the scene playing out.
Oh my god, Hala, please save me, I love you, please.
It's Ravenous, like
my
almost pinned against the wall, like a grievous wound across her chest. Scrhute standing
This was
over.
the flesh wound of my titties.
Scrhute standing over her with blades in hand, a bloody blade in hand, and yeah, his wife immobilized by the window. She just takes it all in, and then hesitates for all of half a second, but then that's all it takes. She leaps forward.
That's
Get
right.
up her character sheet.
My girl, she fucking protect, she attack.
You need to stop swearing so much, though.
Most importantly, she my best friend.
So, she'll go in with the quarterstaff. It's not a character sheet I'm familiar with.
Doesn't
So
matter.
leaps over the bed, swings with the quarterstaff, and immediately cracks Scrhute across the back.
Nice.
You can feel him, or you can see him just stumble forwards from the impact of the blow. He's turning around to face her as she swings around again with the quarterstaff, and it's even more impactful. Like BAM! And just, you can hear
she's a
bones.
monk.
Sorry.
It's because she's a monk. I just completely forgot that she had multiple attacks.
I mean, at level 5, everyone gets multiple attacks,
I
basically.
missed Nightshade.
Um,
Sorry.
Yeah, and
I'm blind.
bam, bam, you can hear sort of bones cracking like twigs underfoot from the second blow, and you see him. He's not looking particularly happy about this. He's already frowning. But he's no longer. He'd nearly smiled in victory at seeing the grievous wound he inflicted upon Ravenous, but that is gone entirely.
Shame
I
you didn't
think-
do good. Shame you didn't kill me, bruh.
Yeah, and I think she would. So it's all the key point stuff. It gets incredibly complicated.
Key points.
You can spend a key point to
Yeah,
make 2
boy.
unarmed attacks as an action. So unarmed. Okay, and then just so smack with the quarterstaff, and then readies a fist and just starts hammering away twice into his kidneys, and yeah, it's just you can
If
feel.
you are a woman, you understand that the pain of a kidney means a lot.
Good.
Oh my god. Hala is on fire.
Yeah, these are really good rolls. So bam, bam, and you
How's
see,
the
You can see it's just like rocking with each blow. You can see the grievous damage that he's taken just in these brief few seconds. It's pretty considerable. He's taken, what was it, 22, about 30 damage just from Hallow in that one moment. Bam, 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 bam. Leave my friend alone. It's that awkward British Texas accent.
Leave my friend alone, bitch.
Okay, that sounds far too close to something else, so I'm not going to say that again.
Good. Nanto, so you can see Lyroon is carrying this immobilized, unconscious gnome out of the prison. I assume you follow suit.
Indeed, let's get this one out of here.
Mm-hmm. So using your movement, you're able to follow them up out the ladder. You're in the barn. You still got your action left.
I would like to... so we're both out of the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to close the latch, close the trap door. Would I be able to use prestidigitation to move some manure back over it?
You could use your telekinesis, certainly. I think prestidigitation... Oh, if I just...
I'm panicking!
It turns
You're
out the
all
president
panicking.
became your DM.
I'm
Everything is
panicking!
chaotic.
Panicking.
Now I'm
Everything is
properly
so
panicking.
chaotic. So, Lyroon, you suddenly become an
What?
evil elf, and Baruch, suddenly you forget that you are in fact a hobgoblin who becomes some kind of gnome man, and Lyroon, you may be a very nice warforged, but now you're an evil warforged, and that's
I'm
what
Nanto,
happens.
not Lyroon.
I meant Nanto. And that's what
Well.
happens when I take over as the DM.
I don't think you want to see evil Nanto.
Evil Nanto.
Neither do I, because I feel like it would be the same thing, but with like the most inappropriate insertions.
But
Wow.
see, the difference being, it would be pretty similar, except everything with malicious intent.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it's unassuming, completely.
It's unassuming ignorance.
It's on the precipice of absolute evil.
Right. Well, I don't know how, but somehow I pressed a button that meant I disconnected from Discord. But yeah, it's fixed now. So yeah, you make your way out,
Welcome back.
out of the the torture cellar. Yeah, prestidigitation. You can like warm up stuff. You can colour stuff. But I don't think you'll be able to move manure. But you can certainly use your telekinesis to do that.
Oh, I would love to telekinetically shove a pile of manure over it.
Yeah, so you can start shoving it over. Yeah.
It gets. I mean, it's silly, but technically, it's only if it's a creature. I was gonna say the manure gets a strength saving throw. But no, I will just like close this up, tidy it back, and try to make it look like nobody stole a gnome from this area. Well, besides the giant spattering from the cloud of daggers earlier. But we're going to ignore that part, and we're just going to cover it up with my telekinesis.
It's less immediately obvious anyway. So you just reposition some of the manure, just causing it to fall over. It's more like a pull, and it sort of collapses over the entrance just to cover it over once more after the car wash style splattering that had occurred.
Ow!
Okay.
And
What?
ouch! And
Ouch and
Ouch and ill.
Burke, so
manure
you've been...
spattering sounds gross to me, but maybe that's just me.
So we did get the door open. I'm currently downstairs, but looks like at least Hal has gone full into fighting Scrhute. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Reluctantly, Brooke would join the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's... So I'm gonna run back up the stairs, through the door, just take stock of the situation, and most likely just proceed to slap Dwight.
So you're using your movement, because you'd use your movement to go to the spare room, then down as far down the stairs as you could go. Yeah, you could probably get back to the door. Yeah, you can get over to Dwight. So yeah, that works.
Yep. Okay, so first things first, then Ah, right. It's a short sword according to the bot.
Short sword. Ugh.
So does 15 hit, right?
Don't.
It does.
In that case, I'll add 1 superiority dice to that.
Oh! Oh
For
my god.
15 piercing damage. And that's going to be a pushing attack to hopefully slam him into the wall.
Cool. I should ask, is this lethal?
Hopefully not.
No, I mean, are you looking to do lethal damage?
No, I'm not looking to do.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So, Burke charges in, hooks around the corner, finds in the scene, and you can see Burke Haller just hammering away at this quarterstaff, whack, whack, then the fist, whack, whack, just in time for you to charge forward with your short sword in hand and just smack the flat of the blade against the back of his head, and he just whacks against the wall and starts stumbling away out of the immediate fray, out of your immediate melee range. He's just barely on his feet, but he's looking dazed. He's sort of swaying on his feet.
Dazed, really about to break.
In that case, I'm going to bring up the flat side of my sword and try to bring that down on him.
Second attack.
Yep. 23, I suppose, does hit.
Exactly.
Kerplunk.
So you just
Is 8 damage enough?
yeah, exactly. So you just calmly step forward, wham, and he just cracks the flat of the blade against his temple, and he just flops to the ground, unconscious, folding.
And
Oh my
I
God,
would just
his wife
lean by
had to
him
watch
to
this.
confirm.
Sorry, Brooke.
I would just lean by him just to confirm that, yeah, he's out.
Yeah, so he just folds to the ground, and you can see his eyes rolling up, and he's unconscious. There's no bleeding wounds. He's not taken any particularly vicious
Tis
ones,
but a flesh wound.
but mostly bruises and cracks, and then a couple of flats of the blade. What were you saying, sorry, Nante?
Oh, I was just saying, and his wife had to watch this the whole time.
Exactly.
So much for the pride.
Hell.
Yeah, so standing just nearby is Gertrude, who's been watching immobilised this entire time and unable to respond. I assume that's the end of your turn, Brooke.
It is. Yep.
Ravenous, you're up.
Okay, so I take my rope and I tie up Gertrude and fling her onto the bed.
Okay, easily done. She's not able to offer any kind of response. Give me a sleight of hand check just to see what your rope knot tying is like.
It's gonna be fucking exponential. Sorry, what did you ask me to do? A
Sleight of hand.
sleight of hand. Okay, sorry.
You looking for that on your
Be
sheet?
a 6. No, I've
16.
got it. 16.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Ravenous just walks over. That grievous wound across her chest, just bleeding merrily away as she pulls out a length of rope.
I'm still holding it like my boobs!
and then
But
just
I'm
merrily
still tying her up.
and just starts tying her wrists together, and then just moves Gertrude over to the bed, leaves her face down, tied up, unable to do anything, still immobilised by Ravenous's magic. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to hurt her. I mean, and then I go and pick up the screaming gold.
Pick up the still screaming bag of gold. Okay. Shrute's unable to do anything because he's still unconscious. Lyroon continues leading the way out the barn. Looks to the house. Can't hear anything currently that sounds too concerning. And just looks to the gnome in his hands, and then looks to Nanto. We should get him out of here. Hopefully they've got it well in hand. And starts moving off to the edge of the farm instead. Gertrude, immobilised at the top of the beds,
Is immobilized and
continues
therefore can't
being
do anything.
immobilised and fails the wisdom save. She's still face down, just in the sheets,
She's also
locked
tied.
in place. I think with her tied up, I think you guys are good to move out of initiative now. She's not really going to be able to do much. So, it's the end of combat. You've defeated Dwight and his wife. You've successfully robbed them. Burke,
I didn't know that they've been robbed yet. It's
Well,
just
they
me.
just Brooke just watched you pick up the screaming bag of gold.
That one bag of gold. He doesn't know anything else. He's
It's just a
literally-
bag of their precious
No,
life
it's-
savings.
Yeah, like one bag is plenty. Ravenous, what in seven hells are you doing?
Well, I am sleuthing information. Look at this book that I came up with. And I hand him my book.
So that's the logbook that you've stolen out of their trunk. You haven't read it yet, so you actually don't know what's inside.
Yeah.
All I know is that it's exactly the same as the logbook I read that said that FH has been paying 600 gold to do whatever. I don't know what.
So, Burke, what do you do?
They're still complete and utter almost disbelief in Burke's eyes. Like, Ravenous, what? Why? And he just leans down to check on White, just to confirm that, on the one hand he's definitely out, on the other that he'll live.
Yeah, he seems to be just unconscious. There's no permanent
Next to
damage
his
done.
wife. On the bed.
I mean, I wouldn't be doing much more than that.
Yeah.
I'm not accepting the book at the point, by the way. It's still in your hands.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I just slip it back into my cummerbund, and I just go, okay, well, let's reform, and I walk out. I just walk out with all the gold in hand. Only that you've seen me pick up one bag of gold.
Okay.
One screaming bag of gold.
On screen.
Yeah, and it's going. I beg stolen.
What?
That's what the bag says. It goes,
What?
I beg stolen.
Yeah. Good. So, the pilfered golden hand. Ravenous starts making her way out. Yeah, the Gertrude tied up, face down in the bed. Scrhute unconscious, laying face down on the ground.
I would bring him back on the bed.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, unconscious now on the bed beside his wife. You've rescued what seems to be some kind of prisoner from the barn, independently of what just transpired in the house. Hala accompanies Ravenous back outside, and I think that is where we'll leave it off, as we're a little bit over time anyway. But yeah, you've accumulated a bit of gold, stolen gold, but still gold. You've got some kind of evidence of what looks to be payments from Flashheart at regular intervals. You've got a prisoner in hand.
That I call living prisoner a pretty good piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remains to be seen the nature of said prisoner, but certainly you've got a prisoner in hand. Yeah, this.
I mean,
old...
can I just say I'm good to keep going if other people are too?
I'm afraid I will have to.
Damn it!
Yeah. And I need dinner.
Too, but that doesn't matter in this field of work.
Yeah, so you've got some key points of evidence, certainly. Remains to be seen.
And luckily, I have the poker, and you had mentioned that he had maybe some poker stabs on him,
You
which
did-
means we could put together evidence that this man had possibly been tortured.
Exactly. So you got that
Or
much.
you may have been able to poker him yourself, but that's beyond the point.
The
Right.
wounds are far too old for that.
Right, and
I'll tell you what to say.
presumably said prisoner will attest to who inflicted the wounds upon
Yeah.
him.
This is true.
Was it
true.
this
Okay, fair
robotic
enough.
man with glowing eyes and a whimsical aura? Well, no, not really.
Was the
Was it
screw
this
now?
fucking widow, or was it the Scrhute man?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Turns out it was Will.
It was Will!
It's definitely all Will.
No!
But you have seen no sign of Will. You
Maybe.
She's in the
They t-
house that I scouted, and I
They
can tell
turned
you
Will
where
into an elf.
it is.
So
What?
we'll find out about that next week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Yeah, we'll
Yes!
pick up on the rest of it, and we'll see what happens. Cheers, everyone, and I'll see you next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.